my own personal one as well. Yeah.
Can you send it to us so we can tag you in it, sort of thing?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Okay, right, we're going on to YouTube Live now. Right, so turn it off. Right, we are live now on YouTube. So hello to our YouTube viewers.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. We'll be going on there in just. We'll be going live. We're going live now. Just make sure it's live on here. Yeah. Right. Well, so turn it off. Right, we are. Yeah, that's all there. So yeah, normal. Just a quick go over just the senior stuff, Andy. Then we're then the rest of the show is all for Sunday football with a bit of banter thrown in, especially with these two around. Yeah. So I'm gonna take my background off actually. Yeah. Yeah. So that's done. Right. So I'll text Ian. We'll start.
Not really text him yet.
Yeah, let's go. Been all right there, though, yeah, Damo? He's on. You've muted yourself.
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, been really good. What is
good?
Camera?
Oh dear. Jesus. Are we on, Ian?
Yes, we're on.
We're on. Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Grassroots Football Show on East London Radio. It is Thursday, the 17th of August. I heard through the grapevine that someone was celebrating a birthday today. I don't know who that is, but yeah. Yeah. Ian, it's not yours, is it?
No.
Yeah.
No, Andy, not Andy. Adam, happy birthday, mate. Hope you had a good day. I know you had a good day as well.
31, getting old.
Wow.
That's not old, Adam. That's not old.
No, it's not. No.
Considering I started this show when I was 22, so it says how far.
I thought he was 51. I thought he was 51.
I bloody feel it, I'll tell you. Yeah, I bloody feel it. Yeah, but yeah, thanks very much, boys. I appreciate that. But yeah, we nice to be back. No Pete and Scott this week. So we're joined for the first time this season by our other regular mischievous co-hosts. It is the legends that are Martin Brazier and Damien Clark. Good evening, boys.
Evening, Ed.
Round of applause for Damien and Martin.
Hey. Good evening, everyone. Hope you enjoy the show tonight.
Thank you very much. I do have one question to start with, and everyone's going to be asking this. Martin, where's the curtains?
I know. I feel let down. To be quite honest, my wife's got her friends round in the lounges downstairs, so I've got a spare room up here. So I thought I'll stick a couple of photos up on the wall, and I'll do it from the spare room. That's where I am. I know a lot of people will be saying, you want the curtains back, but
I'll be back next week.
Adam,
yeah.
Let's get a vote on Twitter. Curtains back next week. What's going on?
I like the photos. The photos look really good.
I think we'll have to come into those photos a bit later.
Yeah,
we'll have to
come in a bit later, yeah.
Yeah, we will come on to that a bit later. But yeah, it's been, and obviously we're here really primarily for a Sunday special this week. Now, people will be saying, why aren't we recording this on a Sunday over a roast dinner? But there you go. But yeah, we are joined this week by a new member of the GFS family. We're pleased to welcome the Brentwood Sunday League to the GFS family. That they cover, obviously, clubs all around the Brentwood area. And they've decided to adopt someone from Debden as well for this season. Yeah, poor things. We feel sorry, don't we, Ian? We feel sorry for them, don't we? Yeah, we do. I'd like to welcome Brentwood League Chairman Andy Tacey to the programme. Evening, Andy. Nice to see you.
Evening all. Thanks for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and as always, a pleasure to see Martin again.
Yes.
There you go.
And a good exposure for your league as well. We'll come on to the Sunday action, obviously, shortly. But just first, we'll just quickly go over some of the highlights from what happened in the Essex Senior League and other leagues last weekend. What I'm going to do this week, actually, is I'm going to start with the Thurlow Nunn Premier. And the reason I am going to do that, because obviously Damo's here, and obviously he's committee member of Barkingside. Now, after a very good start on the opening day, Damo, you kind of faded away a little bit. You've obviously you lost in the League Cup. You also lost to Hutton, who, let's be fair, started off really, really well. And then obviously lost at home to Hoddesdon, and then Cannons Wood, who, to be fair, have got a 100% record. But from the outside looking in, I still do see positives, and I think James is a good manager, and I still think Barkingside will have a good season. From a committee perspective, how are you taking it so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was a change of personnel regarding the manager's position this year, and obviously James, Steve stepped aside, went upstairs, as I say, director of football, and James came in. And to be fair, I've had a lot of good, things about James. Obviously, he's come in, he's brought in some players. We've lost quite a few players. I think there's only one or two that I can remember from last season. So yeah, it's going to be, difficult for him at first, because, like I say, he's only just come in, and we've had quite the fixtures we've had have been quite hard, to be honest. Some good sides in there, like I say, Cannons Wood we know well, Hutton have done really well as well. But starting off at Man Baker and winning, it was a really good result for us, to be fair. And we, it would have been nice to have actually built on that and then carried on, going on a winning streak. But I think at the moment, it's just, like I say, it's been some difficult games we've played, and there's been quite a lot of games as well, isn't there, so far? I mean, what was that? 4 games now, 5 games. That's quite a lot that's quite a lot in a small space of time. So, like I say, I mean, you've got to have a big squad when you've got so many games, haven't you, during, maybe 2 games a week. So, but I have every faith in James and the boys. And like I say, I'm sure we'll start improving, and we'll start getting some more wins under our belt. So, no panic at the moment. Like I say, and James always seems like he's adding players to the squad. So who knows? Hopefully we'll be okay. But, no problem whatsoever from my point of view. I think, like I say, it's a very strong league this season, very strong league, like it was last season, to be fair. So, I mean, I think we've got feeling positive about it this season, Ed, to be honest.
You reckon you are? Yeah, I think Barkingside. I said on the opening show of the season, I think that Barkingside will do well this year, because James is a good manager. He knows exactly what he's doing, sort of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry, Joe, mate. Also, he's got protection in football, isn't he, with players and what have you. So the players know him. Has he signed any ex players from his previous teams, Damo?
I'm not too sure, Mark. I mean, the personnel has changed a lot this season. I mean, a lot of players have moved on. There's a couple of players that have stayed. But no, I mean, and it's a young squad as well, which is good. But I think it's very difficult, because unfortunately we all know, and I'm not saying it's making an excuse, but there's a lot of teams who have got a budget in this league, and that helps. That enables you to attract better players, and we haven't done it, and we haven't done it for a long time. We haven't got a budget we don't use a budget for players, so we work with what we've got. And
to be fair, I mean, that's trickling down to the Sunday football now, isn't it? We'll talk about later.
Definitely.
Players being paid per on a Sunday. Well, until the old days, go out on a Saturday, have a few beers and get up, half cut and play football, sort of thing. I know, obviously, we need improvement, obviously, but paying players to play on a Sunday, it's great. For me, it's crazy. It's just changed, isn't it? Completely.
Yeah, Mark, you ain't mentioned you pay yourself a wage to be manager.
I haven't told the boys that yet. You know what I mean? So, I'm going away soon, so the old match fees might have to go up.
Adam back.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to check in with Pete, because I've got to try and log in on the Twitter, and it's linked to his phone number, so I've got So I've got the password got changed ages ago, and I've forgotten what it was. So.
Hey, mate, who do you think's favourites for your division? Is there any particular favourites that stand out? The Barking side?
I mean, how many teams do you want me to mention, Mark? It's a very, very, very strong league. And I mean, you've got like Cannons Wood, you've got Hutton, a very good side. You've got teams that missed out on promotion last year. You've got Wormley in there. I mean, very, very strong sides, to be honest. Sorry if I haven't mentioned any of the sides, but or all the sides, I should say. But it's a very strong league, and it's tough. And to be fair, I mean, a lot of people wasn't so sure about having a Step 6 league years ago. But to be fair, it's a good league to get some experience if you've gone from sort of amateur football, Step 7. Well, before Step 7 was come about, it's a good stepping stone to get you into the Essex Senior League, or that sort of standard.
Like Andy Sports Brentwood, they're in the Eastern League, North Division, isn't it?
Yeah, Brentwood Sunday League in North Division. So similar to what Damo was saying, different teams with different budgets, and you can never quite nail down what teams have specifically got. We'd all like to know. It's very much cards to their chest, but some of the rumours that are flying about is some silly money.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm secretary of Walthamstow. Obviously, we share a division now, and some of the wages I've heard, I won't say the clubs, but you can probably understand. Guess who? But some of the money that's been talked about in East and North is just ridiculous.
If it's true, and I'm not suggesting that these people are telling fibs, but if it's even close to being true, then some of these players are on near enough probably National League South and North wages for the lower end.
And I'll tell you what's really annoying me as well is the fact that you've players even as far down as Step 7 have got blooming agents, and it's just we've got. I speak to my agent, and I'm like, why do I want to speak to your agent? Your agent doesn't control you. You're a Step 5 player. You're not a pro. I just think it's absolutely ludicrous.
Well, to be honest, unless the agent wants money as well.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Who knows?
I just think it's so sad though, really, because I think social media's done a lot of this as well. I don't get me wrong, social media is great platform for football, and it's very good. But I think it's got its good side and it's got its bad side as well, because and some of the rules and regulations. I mean, some players have played for God knows how many clubs, haven't they, over the years?
God, yeah.
And myself personally, I think you should be able to pay for maybe a maximum of 3 clubs, and that's it. Because it just gets stupid, really, to be fair.
It does. Andy, what is your Twitter account again, by the way?
Grab it for you.
Yeah, thank you. So I can mention that to the viewers and listeners.
Well, it's just Andy Tacey, but it's at the Tacey Boy.
At the Tacey Boy. Thank you very much. Yes. So, but yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting division, I think, as well, Damo, because obviously with 22 teams in there as well. It's going to be a very competitive.
Sorry, Adam. So you could be paying, if you do well in the cup, maybe 50 games.
Exactly.
50 games. Well, 40, late 40. Wow, that's a lot of games.
It's too many to be. My personal opinion, it is too many and absolutely ridiculous. And you got to look at it from a financial side as well, because if you do pay your players, and you're paying them per game, that's a lot of money to find. And also you've got to, with home games as well, you've got to pay for officials. Yeah. And not all, and it's not always home and away. Sometimes you might have 2 or 3 home games on a spin. And if you're only getting, say, 40 people through the gate and 20 of them are non-payers, you just about, you don't even cover your officials, really. And I'm not having a dig at anyone, but I mean, sometimes some of these leagues, I know they want to share the officials around and they don't want the same officials doing the same areas. But sometimes, I mean, we've had people come from Norfolk to referee some of our games or be on the line, and it's just absolutely ludicrous, really.
Well, surely, common sense tells you that's not right.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Mark, common sense doesn't come into it, because at the end of the day, you might get some referees who want to stay London based. See, that's the problem with the league. You've got the furlough none league we're in, it covers quite a big area, pretty much like the Essex Senior League, and some of the teams that we know well, Stansted and teams like that. I think they go into is it the South Midlands League, Ed?
And South Midlands, yeah.
Yeah, some of the travelling they've got to do is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you look at some of the games, and some of them, like for Stansted, it's probably going to Cambridgeshire or Bedfordshire, which isn't a million miles away.
Hertfordshire, yeah.
Exactly, but some of the travelling as well. So it's honestly, some of it's ludicrous, but that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, when you're playing at this level, you've got to expect it. Same with Walthamstow. I mean, Walthamstow, they've got quite a bit of travelling, haven't they?
Well, last season we was in the Southern League, so we was going to places like Oxford and Cirencester and places like that. But now this year we're in the Isthmian, so we've got more local trips like Brentwood and obviously your Redbridges and Greys, and obviously the further ones are like Lowestoft and Wroxham and that, which isn't
Galston,
But to be fair, which isn't too bad, in all honesty. So,
as long as you haven't got Wroxham on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, we have.
I've done that
at the
before.
moment.
Oh god.
Yeah. I've done that as well. Let's just quickly go over the highlights from the other games at the in the last few days. There's one club I'll come on to in just a minute. Well done to Newbury Forest, by the way. They were our winners of our result of the weekend because they ended Hutton's 100% record in the East or in the Thurlow and South. Hutton, obviously, brilliant start to the season. Newbury Forest hadn't had a point, and they came and won by 3-2. So, Andy, Hutton's club, not that far from your neck of the woods. They've done really well to come up, and obviously had a great start to life in senior football. But I suppose, in a way, if you're Hutton, you might think, well, yeah, it's disappointing, but it's I'm not trying to say Matt Singside got reality check, but it just shows you how tough senior football can be.
Exactly that. I mean, Hutton have done extremely well. Very well established club, accredited, England accredited. From the youth upwards, they're good at well drilled and have done for many, many years. They had a Sunday side that was extremely successful, which had to leave, but now they're a very good side. So they will be a force.
They will do well this year.
Yeah, is there a rivalry between Brentwood and Hutton, or I know they call it concern now, or is it because they're in different leagues? It's not so bad.
That's a valid question, Martin, but there isn't. No, it's obviously Hutton is part of the Brentwood district or Brentwood borough as it is now. So they work in relationship with each other. There's no crossover there, no cross wires there between the two clubs. So no, Brentwood obviously is the hierarchical team of the two, purely by status and longevity and history. And Hutton are obviously trying to play catch up, and I think they're in a good position to do so. Actually, over the next few years, they'll give it a damn good go. Very good side. Hutton, run by extremely well, diligent, efficient people. So yeah, I think they'll do very, very well. But there's nothing there with Smooth Hutton.
Definitely. Harlow moved to second. They beat Man Baker by 2-0. Our game of the day that we picked, Clapton Community Basildon Town, finished in a 2-2 draw at the Spotted Dog. We do have some highlights now, courtesy of Ashley Hanson. He was at Burnham on Saturday for their game against St Margaret's-Bury at Leslie Field. And we're going to share those highlights for you now. Martin will be the commentator. Martin John Motson Brazier is going to be Yes. So here we go.
Okay, the Blue Stripes got the ball. A little bit of muddle in the middle of the pitch. Number 6 coming out with the ball. It's all tackle going all the place at the moment. Got header off the ball. On the attack left hand side, the keeper comes out. Lovely goal, past the keeper.
I mean, if you look back at it there, the keeper's made a big mistake there, isn't he? Like, if you look at it, he's dropped the ball.
Well, yeah, but we don't. Don't know So, it happens, but pretty good back up, persevering, chasing the ball when 9 times out of 10 the keeper will have picked it up.
Okay. So that's Burnham 1 up.
Just going to the crowd now, getting all the celebration's done. Now we've got a throw in again to the blue team. Burnham?
Yeah, Burnham.
We're behind the top level, so we need to just do because we're now in the attack again. Left hand side again. This was coming in the back of the net. You're better off filming it, Ed.
Okay. Tell you what, I think you might be a bit behind. So here we go. Cross comes in. Easy tap in for 3-0. To be honest, they look 3 figures up. Perhaps, the conceding team could have done much more, done better. We've got some happy guys there. Yeah, here we go. Another easy counter attack, cross in, goal, 4-0.
Yeah, I'm running behind him. I've always got his still photos really, but as I say, keeper's obviously holding his hands in his head. But it happens,
Yeah. I don't know if Damien and Andy managed to see all of that, but So,
I see that the last goal I see on Twitter this week, and to be fair, I mean, no disrespect to the goalkeeper, but he's made absolute howler for the 4th goal. I don't know if he's misjudged the cross or whatever, but look, at the end of the day, look, as footballers, we've all had good games, and we've had bad games. I mean, all that's going to do is probably, would have knocked his confidence a little bit, but I'm sure he'll bounce back, the goalkeeper. If he wasn't good enough, he wouldn't be playing at that level, would he? So, I mean, he's just unfortunately bad day at the office.
He wouldn't. No.
Yeah, but it's all down to the coaches now. Getting behind the keeper, encouraging and praising him. And hopefully you plays the next game.
Yeah. Okay. So the other results from the Third and South. We'll go on to the midweek ones now. Now we're going to show highlights from a big local derby last night between Benfleet and Southend Manor. Now, the reverse fixture of this was due to be played on the 1st of August, and there was a lot of controversy surrounding that regarding Southend Manor's pitch. But let's have a look at this now. So, Damien, you're taking role of commentator. So, talk us through this.
Oh, number 7's been put through. Lovely turn inside, and a great finish. To be fair, really good finish there. Yeah, it put through very nicely, and went to his right hand side and then shot into the left bottom corner. Very good goal. Big kick up from the goalkeeper, flicked on. The fullback unfortunately gets robbed of it. Number 12 crosses it over. Number 7, lovely Cruyff turn. Takes on the fullback, squares it across, and there is a nice left foot shot.
12 that was that scored that. 12 got that. Yeah.
12, yeah, number 12.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Damo. We'll come back to you in a minute.
Don't give up your day job, Ed.
Yes. So great win for Southend Manor in a local derby as well. So we've said that they've got the squad capable of challenging, so fair play to them. One team, obviously, I saw a game last night. I was at Mile 11 for Tower Hamlets versus Park View. Crazy game this was. Unfortunately, I had to stop updates. My battery died. But yeah, we was.
Didn't notice on Twitter.
Yeah. So to be fair, Parkview should have been 4-5 up in the first 25 minutes because the chances they had, the number 11 as well, the chance he missed was unbelievable. Tower Hamlets went 2-0 up within a couple of minutes, totally against the run of play. And then Parkview came back in the second half and won it by 3-2. Absolutely brilliant. So bad start really for Tower Hamlets. And obviously Parkview getting their first points of the season. And one club I'm going to mention, obviously, and Damien, I know you know this club pretty well, and I know you're going to be sad to see this, is Clapton. They lost 6-0 away at Dunmow on Saturday, and they lost 7-1 at home to Hackney Wick last night. That's 13 goals in, 3 or 4 days that they've conceded. An old historic club. Was that, sorry?
Is this the team that Ross was manager last year?
Yes. Yeah.
The same team. Yeah. He's now left, isn't he? He's
gone to Boreham Wood. Yeah.
Academy.
Yeah.
So whether that's anything to do with it, or perhaps he's taking some players with him, I obviously don't know. But no, it's a shame, isn't it? As you say, great tradition, and you know, they've done a lot of work at the ground there, haven't they? Hopefully they can turn it around.
Yeah, you're thinking of Clapton Community. This is the original Clapton.
Yeah, this is the Clapton. I played from going back when I was 18, 19, so a long time ago. And I mean, it was buzzing. To be fair, it was buzzing when I was down there. But no, I mean, over the years, unfortunately, they've had their demons, haven't they? And it's just a real shame because, you know, they no longer play in the stadium. They're having to play at the Terence Mack, which is not ideal for anyone. And, you know, you've got to give them credit where credit's due, because Vince could have just pulled the plug and folded the club up because of the problems they've had. But, you know, they continue to keep going. I just think it's very hard for them because there's so many teams in the area, and it's very hard for them to pick up players because there's so many teams. You've got Athletic Newham, you've got Tower Hamlets, you've got Sporting Bengal, you've got the CFC Clapton. You know, you've just got so many teams in the area. And, you know, everyone's fighting for the same sort of players, and to see them get stuffed them 2 games. But like we've said earlier, it's early days, you know, so at the end of the day, you know, things can change, you know, in one game. So I wouldn't knock them just yet. You know, they're down there, but it's only a couple of wins and they'll be out of that bottom position. So
yeah, definitely. Just as well, right? So that's the third and undone. Quickly in the Essex Senior League, we've got one set of highlights for that. That was the game at Cricklefield on Monday night between Ilford and Takeley. Let's go to our chief commentator, Damien Clark, who's going to hang on a minute. He's going to enjoy describing this one, isn't you, Damo?
Yeah, why not? I'll give it a go.
This is Ilford versus Takeley on Monday night in the Senior League.
Oh, good bit of football. Good bit of football. Number 5 knocking it into the midfield. Yeah, there we go.
Get the ball away there, didn't they?
Yeah, big hoof up the field from Ilford. Big number 9 flicks on. Out to the left-hand side. Cuts in. Oh, good, well controlled. Good finish. Good finish by the number 10. Very good finish. Not very happy. The opposition with a goal. Good corner. Oh, great header. Great header into the top corner. It's 2-0 to Ilford. Oh, nice bit of skill by the fullback. Good ball. Good finish. By number 10, I think it is. Good finish. Throw in for number 10. Not cleared by Ilford. Number 11 puts through the substitute. Oh, good finish. Good finish.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was good.
Apologise for the language if you heard anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we do apologise. It's not 9 o'clock yet. So yeah. Just a quick highlights from the Senior League. No, sorry, I don't know why that happened. Yeah. So obviously Saturday games. There was a lot of games Saturday. Obviously, of course. Highlighted results from Saturday. FC Clacton beating Tilbury 2-1. A thriller at Frentford between Frentford and Cockshall Town ended 3-3. Romford kept up their 100% record, beating Holbridge 2-0. Scott W was at Sporting Bengal Buckhurst Hill. His report and blog is available at his blog, survivor16b.wordpress.com. Another thriller between Takeley and West Essex was 3-3. And Woodford beat Saffron Walden 3-1. And in midweek, Tilbury beat Sporting Bengal by 3-1. FC Clacton are out the FA Cup, losing 4-1 at Bedford. And in the Maysbrook Derby last night, finished Romford 2, Barking 2. So interesting results there. The 100% records in the ESL were now gone already. So that shows how competitive that league is going to be. In the just a couple of highlights from the Alliance League Senior Division from the opening week. 2 8-1 victories on Saturday, actually. Linmore Gardens beat and Haringey Borough under 23s, both winning their respective games by 8 goals to 1. And in the Essex Olympian League, surprise result was Springfield losing to Old South Indians by 3 goals to 2 on the opening weekend at Garran Park. And another result, it finished Harold Wood 2, Kelvedon Hatch 3.
Oh, Ian.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not good. Yes. So that is the obviously the region's fixtures or results from Saturday. Just a quick, brief check of the fixtures because obviously it's the FA Cup this weekend, guys. And obviously Saturday in the FA Cup, these are the games that you've got involving our region sides. You've got Athletic Newham versus Westfield, not the shopping centre, by the way, because that would be easy to,
I wouldn't say that.
This is easy. This is easily, I think, the game of the weekend for me. Bowes and Pitsea against Woodford Town. Andy's nodding his head there.
It's interesting you say that because I actually worked with one of the players from Woodford Town, Nathan Solossi. He used to play for Buckhurst Hill and then moved on to Brighton Sea Region for a very short period. And then this season he decided to join Woodford Town. He is some player. He's away at the moment, so he'll miss this week's fixture. But and also Great Wakering Rovers in the same league have moved down from the Isthmian North down to the Essex Senior. I worked with Billy Johnson, who's an elder player in the midfield for Great Wakering Rovers. So, but that Woodford Town versus Bowes and Pitsea, Gary Neve is the secretary over there, I believe. He's part of his team are in the Brentwood Sunday Football League. He runs a tight ship there over at Bowes and Pitsea. That's going to be an excellent game to see.
Yeah, that is definitely my game of the weekend, 100%. Yeah. Other good luck to Buckhurst Hill. They host Step 4 opposition in Northwood. Little Oakley go to our friends at Hadley. Barking are at Haybridge Swifts. Holbridge host Waltham Abbey. That'll be an interesting game. Malden versus West Essex. Again, another interesting one. Romford on form host Welling Garden City. A derby between Sawbow and Saffron Walden. And it's Whittam versus Stanway Rovers. Bit of a derby there. And the game of the week, I think this could be an absolute cracker at Mile End. Sporting Bengal against West Essex. I think that could be an absolute cracker over at Mile End. So that is going to be interesting. In Thurlow South, starts tomorrow night. Man Baker against Clapton Community. Barkingside travel to Benfleet. And another pick of the weekend's games is Cannons Wood against Harlow Town. Is my game of the weekend in that division. So second versus 100% Cannons Wood record. So that's going to be a very, very intriguing game. For the Alliance League and the Olympian League, please go onto their respective websites to obviously check their fixtures for the weekend. And now we're going to go on to the main subject while we're here this evening, all about Sunday football. We love Sunday football on this programme. We've been a key follower of it for many years. But before we actually discuss going on to the Brentwood League, we're going to play a game. It's called What Happened Next. So I'm going to share a picture with you, and you're going to have to tell me in Mock the Week style what happened next in this photograph. Is that now to me, Ian? What do you think is happening here? To me, that looks like.
I think they're going in for a hug. Is it a hug?
Are they going for a man hug, or is Damien's wallet fell out of his shorts no,
I'm just showing a little spurt of speed there.
No, I'm surely that's Damien's dropped his wallet and Martin's going to retrieve the £5 he owes him. No, yeah. Can we explain what happened next in this? What was happening in this picture?
Well, go on, Mark. Go on.
Obviously a through ball was played. I was playing up top. Damien was sitting at the back. Everyone listening, obviously, this is Debden Sports versus Hay Norton, a friendly last Sunday.
The GFS derby.
Yeah, it was. And obviously, I've got a few minutes. And this particular photo, ball being played through. If you show the next one, Ed.
Who's Anne?
Ed.
Yeah.
So the next photo, and then we see how we go.
Right. Damien looks like he's straightening there to love. Damien looks like he's either straining to go to the toilet or something. Yeah.
It's interesting. None of these pictures actually involves the ball. Where is the ball?
That's a good point.
That's the world's worst spot the ball competition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spot the ball. Yeah.
Where the hell's the ball?
That's why they're running around. They lost it.
The geezer behind Damien looks like he's looked at Damien and thought, we're about to drop one. I better run.
So the only thing with Damo there, a little advice of Damo, he's doing a bit of ball washing there. Where I'm moving off the ball, obviously, and anticipating the pass coming through.
Terrible pass, though. It was a terrible pass. The ball just went.
Yeah. There's another photo here. Right.
I've seen that one. Hey, look, I've gone past it. I've gone past it.
Oh,
look. I've done 20 yards, right, roughly, right, and Damo's not moved, right. So I've got my eye on the ball. I know where the ball's going. Fantastic ball. Forget who probably can't relate it through. And go on to the next one, Ed, with the ball, please.
That one.
That's it.
Yeah.
My eyes are on the ball. Damo's made up a little bit of pace. He hasn't caught me, obviously. There's only 20 years difference in us. Don't go by looks. And then, I'm obviously chasing the ball down. Unfortunately, our cameraman, that was the last one he took. But I tried to go through. I think the guy just nicked off my toe.
Yeah.
But, that's good. I loved it.
What happened in the game then? Because I think Debden won, didn't they?
Well, what can I say? Do you want to talk through it, Damo?
Well, I think I was man of the match, wasn't I, Mark? Really?
I've got it in the changing room. What's going on here?
Yeah, I got. Unfortunately, it was a very good game. Very good game. I mean, to be fair, I mean, Martin knows that we had quite a lot of players unavailable. We had 6 new players.
Yeah, go
on. six Charlies. And to be fair, it was a good game. And unfortunately, I went to go up for a free kick, headed it, skimmed off the back of my head and went in the goal, which was an own goal, which wasn't great for me.
Mate. We don't do own goals there.
No. And then right at the end, I think it was just tired legs, to be honest. I mean, just cleared the ball and it went to Joe, their goalkeeper, who came up for the corner and he whacked it in. I think he wanted to put one past Sam, who very kindly, because our goalkeeper wasn't available, very kindly, guested for us on Sunday and had a really good game, to be honest. I think he got two very good goalkeepers.
Here's the moment. Look, he comes up. No, well, hang on. What was this all about? Because literally, you put your arms out. Like, what's all that about? What was happening here?
No, whatever it was, the referee David Dice blew for full time. Right, and he blew for full time. So that's why I was going, what? Like that,
Yeah.
And obviously it was a joke, obviously, and that's when I made my appearance.
A very nice thing. If you watch the rest of it, very nice video.
And if you look at this, look at nice little moment between the two GFS legends.
You were both centre mid. Mark, put me in your back pocket.
He is.
Put him in your back pocket. Put him in your back pocket.
You're centre mid.
No.
You were both centre mid. Mark, put me in your back pocket.
Oh God!
Put him in your back pocket. Blimey.
Can he fit in there?
Can he fit? This is the nearest day I've been near to me since last Sunday. But on a joke aside, it was. I'll probably go on to it. There's probably a shortage of referees on Sunday because of the World Cup final now, all the friendly matches and that. We were lucky to get David Dice. The game itself, we went 3-0 up, and I'll be quite honest, both teams were passing the ball about lovely. I think it was Damo's first game, our second game, and we took our chances, went 3-0 up, and I think Mark Allen give away a penalty, so that's 3-1, and then as Damo was saying, last seconds of the match, our keepers come up, ball's been bouncing about, picked off Damo, and he just whacked it in, didn't he, Damo?
Yeah.
That one lucky enough. But no, we always have good friends against Anal, good banter.
It's very hard for us because obviously, we haven't done no training, to be honest. Martin knows, and Martin's lads have been I've been training with them, so it's been really good. But no, it was a really good game of football, to be fair. We really enjoyed it. But it was, and not being funny, there was a 60-year-old on the pitch. Martin obviously come on as well. I'm 47, so there was quite a couple of old boys on the pitch sort of thing. But you wouldn't have thought so, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely 100%.
Yeah, brilliant game. Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously we're going to be talk about the Sunday divisions and obviously stuff in the Brentwood Sunday League. Very, very, very quickly before we do that, we're new feature here on GFS is called Song of the Week, and that's actually 2 songs of the week. Actually, they're not Rod Stewart, they're not Motown. No, the 2 songs of the week are as follows. The first song of the week award goes to the supporters of West Ham United Football Club, who came up with a very original song on Saturday at their game at Bournemouth, singing "We're going to run round Tottenham with a European trophy."
Look, I'll just tell you, Adam, Andy's actually a West Ham fan.
Oh, yeah.
I gathered that by his email address.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Well worked out.
And also, have you heard? I don't know if anyone's heard, but Tottenham, the squad are going to be releasing a remastered cover of Cher's "Do You Believe in Life After Love?" It goes, "Do you believe in life after Kane? I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think we're strong enough for the Champions League now."
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, obviously I'm a Tottenham fan. Everyone listening, give me a bit, but.
I'm sure. Listen.
Yeah, we're in dire shape, mate.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. I might be a Pompey fan, but you've got an Arsenal and West Ham fan on here. So I'm surprised that this is an open goal for you two to give him some stick.
yeah. But listen, only one game been played in the Premier. West Ham and Tottenham obviously drawing. The South London club, they beat Forest, but Palace away the weekend. West Ham have got a really tough game, haven't they, Andy? You've got Chelsea at home Sunday.
Yeah, we have, and obviously with the loss of Rice to the other North London team or South London team, we just alluded to. we're gonna struggle this season. Becketta might be off as well, so yeah, we're gonna find it tough. And Chelsea just seem to be buying everyone that Liverpool are about to buy, don't they? So.
Yeah. I think you're finding it, Andy, just not in a horrible way, but no one seems to want to come to West Ham at the moment, do they?
You're right. No, it's not horrible at all, Damien. Not horrible at all. No, I don't know what it is. Obviously, it's pay structure. Who knows? But yeah, we're not as, I think with the European trophy, also will be even more attractive. But it's certainly not proven to be the case.
I think it should have been the last game for David Moyes, to be honest. I think he should have moved on.
A lot of people are saying the same. Yeah. I mean, he's reached. It's the only trophy that he's won. He's reached the pinnacle. He can't take West Ham any further than that. Let's be honest. Can't. We're not going to win the FA Cup. We might do a long stretch if Man City happen to lose to someone. Certainly not going to win the league. We're not going to get in top 6. We might avoid relegation. What really is there for him to push for?
True. Dropping your goalkeeper as well, there's a lot of talk of him slagging Moyes off in public, really, because he wasn't very impressed. So
it doesn't seem to be a happy ship, does it? Which happens in football. We've all been involved in football teams and what have you, and these things do happen from time to time. What can you do? But it doesn't seem to be a happy ship at the moment.
Also, Man City are coming for a bid 60 million for one of your players, Andy.
Yeah, Paquetá, I think it was 65. I think they muted, and we're holding out for 85. Which I think, if we hadn't have sold Rice for 105, then 85 would not even be considered. I think it would, if they'd have offered 60 or 65, would have taken it. What they've done is West Ham, I think they've taken that as a barometer and said, right, okay. 105 for Rice. He assisted in the winning goal in the Europa Conference League final for Bowen to score. Therefore, we'll take 20% off of that, and there's your Paquetá price.
Yeah, ain't worth that. No,
definitely.
My opinion, my sister follows West Ham, she goes everywhere, but I can't see. I can't see anything worth that.
I agree. No, I agree. But it's just gone silly. We've just been talking about sort of step 4, step 5 money, but. it's all fed down from the top, I'm afraid, isn't it? It's
I've said this a few times on this program. Just obviously we're now obviously going to go on to talk about Sunday football. Before we talk on obviously what do you call it? Talk obviously about the Brentwood Sunday League and Martin's move over there and Damien's move to Division 28 of 480 in the Corinthian League. I just want to mention obviously it's great that we've obviously got the Brentwood Sunday League and we can form a partnership with them. But I just want a quick word about the combination, a league that's been going since 1937, and to see that go it is sad to see any league go. But a league that's been going since 1937. I mean, you two have been. You two have been in there probably since its inception. So especially you, Mark. But just a couple of quick words from the three of you on the folding of the combination.
Yes, I think it's really sad. Go on, Mark. Go on, Matt.
No, you can't. Well, because I'm basically going to say the same thing. You know, we joined about 2015. You know, like the Brentwood League. You know, welcome with open arms, and again, you know, it was like a family, the committee. Everyone got on with it, everyone. Yes, there was a degree disagreement there and then. The way it helped us out, you know, look, I mean, Andy knows he's on the committee now, but the work the committee do is unbelievable. You know, a lot of people don't see behind the scene what goes on. It is a shame that it's gone down, but you know, you move on, and you know, as I say, Deb didn't move to Brentwood, but Damo's moved to Corinthian. But no, it's a shame because they were good people. They're good people who run football, Sunday footballs, and I'll miss them. I mean, I've met new friends since I've been at the combination. It's a shame, really, but you know, the writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall game a few years ago. And someone's got called out, and it was on. No disrespect, but the committee were getting on, and probably a change was probably needed. Even though I think worked very hard, but no, I say, you know, from me, special thanks to the Essex Sunday combination for taking us on board and all the hard work that they do.
Yeah, no, I'll second that. I think it's really sad, but unfortunately, I think the success of the Corinthian League probably pushed a lot of new teams that really the combination could have done with, pushed them teams to the Corinthian League, because no matter what you say, the Corinthian is a well-run league, same as the Brentwood, same as a combination 2 or 3 years ago. But I just think, unfortunately, you know, with a lot of teams folding now, deciding not to play on Sundays anymore because of families. Obviously, COVID didn't help either. I'm not just saying that as an excuse, but
and the cost of pitches, as you've mentioned on several occasions, Damo.
Yeah, and no disrespect to, I'm not knocking any referees, but you know, the referee costs as well. I mean, you know, it's just very hard. I mean, Martin will tell you, you know, it's very hard to run a team now. So a lot of teams, you know, fold, and then you get 20 new teams, you know, form, and you know, if all 20 of them survive by the end of the season, it's brilliant. But I think with the combination, I just think it was, you know, like I say, a very old committee, and you know, not knocking them at all, but
no,
you know, you need, you know, I'm not so sure so much with the Brentwood League, but I know the Corinthian League have got a lot of officers within that league who all take a part of the, you know, the running the league on board, where the combination, it was just only 3 or 4 people. And obviously social media side, that helped a lot as well for other teams. But it's just one of them things. It's gutting really, and we didn't want to leave the combination at all. Because it was like a family, but unfortunately, as the saying goes, all good things come to an end, and it was unfortunate. But we'll still stay in touch with the you know, with all the guys there, and you know, and like I say, a few of them have come over to the Corinthian League. Mark's gone to the Brentwood League. So yeah, it's going to be all new challenge for us this year. and there might be a few teething problems, but I'm sure we'll all be okay in the end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly run through the constitution of the Brentwood Sunday League, and then obviously we'll get Andy to talk about the league, its foundations, and what they do, what they cover. So here's the constitution for the senior division. I've just got this from the FA full timetables, by the way.
Yeah.
So for this season, in the senior division of the Brentwood Sunday League, got Atletico Trotters. Del Boy and Rodney involved with that one, maybe.
It's Atletico. There's no H.
Oh,
in it,
Atletico.
Yeah, they were
Trotters.
if they're listening, they were shoot me down in flames because they're very precious about their name.
Fair enough, yeah. Okay, evening to Del and Rodney. Bry United, CFC Raynham, Campion Older Boys, Crumple Checkers. Blimey. Yes.
That's what we thought.
Yeah. Emerson Park under 23s, FC United of Hornchurch. Is that Man United kind of connection? Maybe?
There must be something there, yeah.
The Gardeners. Yeah, I hope they play on grass and not on and look after their pitch correctly. Herringate Athletic, Shenfield, and obviously Sungate, and a couple of names that there we know very well from the Essex Olympian League on Saturdays. In Division 1, you've got Barnes Sports, Breeton's Manor, Chafford 13. Hope it's not an unlucky season for them. Emerson Park Reserves, Harold Hill, Harold Wood Athletic, Ian, have got a Sunday team in this league. Yeah. Havering Invicta, High Ongar, Hornchurch Oakmont, Hornchurch Royals, and Raynham Rovers. That makes up the 11-team Division 1. In the Division, let's have a look. Division 2, we've got Great Danes, but they'll be barking mad this season. Hannekin's Farm, Harold Hill Reserves, Herringate Reserves, Nishmans, Royal Alexandra Sunday, South Shell Hannekins, St Eagles, Upminster Athletic, and Zone 4. If they're charging, I hope they do discounts for Zone 4 travel cards. Have I missed anyone out in Division 2?
No, there should be 11 in each. Oh, hold on. Yes, you have actually. Yeah,
yeah, I see. Yes, I have. Oh, yes. Who's Debden?
Andy done it on purpose.
Who's Debden?
Should we put them back to Division 1, Martin? What's your thoughts?
Pardon?
Should we put you back to Division 1? What's your thoughts?
No, we were saying Division 2. That's their standard.
No, do you know? I know. Do you know what it is? He's scared of a GFS derby against Ian. Debden versus Harold Wood.
We'll get friendly. No problem with that.
I might even show up for that.
He'll probably play.
No.
Yeah. Okay. In 3, and finally in Division 3, so there's 4 divisions. Brentwood Eagles, the Gardeners Reserves, Harold Wood Athletic Reserves, in 2 teams again for you, Ian. Imperial Row, Old Cooperians, Pixie Town, Portville, Project 10, Tigers, Worley, and a Spanish name here, West Oviedo. Interesting. So, Martin and Andy can obviously lead the discussion on this. So just tell us about the league and foundations and everything, so people know, Andy.
Yeah, okay. So the Brentwood Sunday League has been going since 1960. It's one of the oldest, longest-serving leagues in the Essex area. The areas that we cover, obviously, is the Brentwood area, but as you can see from the teams that you just announced, we go into the London boroughs as well and into Ongar as well. So it's quite, and obviously now Debden, so it's quite far-fetched. We've got a plethora of referees, which Damer was announced, I think, the perfect storm for the league that folded. We've been rather fortunate in our coverage for referees, which I think is a determining factor for some clubs not renewing or folding, is a lack of referee coverage. We're quite blessed in the Brentwood area. We're a fairly young-ish committee. There was a large change to the committee 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been part of the league now as a player, secretary, vice chairman, and now chairman for 29 years now, from man to boy, or boy to man. And obviously we just wanted to see the league grow. as much as we possibly can. We've got some connection with Brentwood Town. They've allowed us to use their facilities there, so there's a very good connection with those, and the board there have been extremely kind to us over the last few years in supporting us, particularly since COVID. So yeah, I mean, it's a very well run league. We had issues with regards to COVID in making sure that the league could continue. A lot of teams and players since then have not been as committed as prior to that scenario. But yeah, we've got a great bunch of people on the committee: Debbie Ward and Brian Taylor and Adam Grace. It's really, really good, decent people who care about grassroots football and who just want to do their bit. We all know that this is unpaid. It's a lot of work that we do. Running a team is extremely hard work. Running a committee is hard work, and it's an amalgamation of things that we need to make sure that people are committed to ensure that it's run smoothly. So yeah.
Andy, what would you say you had a connection with Gardeners FC as a player, or?
Yes, so Gardeners FC, who are now in the Brentwood senior division, I was the captain of them for a number of years. I'm 47 now, so retired about 9-10 years ago, and then I took a year or two out because I've been playing for 30 years, and the opportunity arose. They were in the 3rd division, and they'd never ever got out the 3rd division in the Brentwood Sunday League. And the opportunity arose that the manager was going, decided he'd had enough, and I was asked as the previous captain if I would consider taking over the management role. So I did, with my friend Paul Johnston, and we progressed year on year. We got promoted from Division 3 to Division 2 to Division 1 and then to the senior, winning the Division 3 Cup and the Division 1 Cup along the way as well. So that was an extremely successful one. So I've done that for 4 or 5 years. I've done that, and then I decided once we got to the Premier League that I had commitments elsewhere to do, that I would part ways with them, and they've managed to sustain their position in the Brentwood Sunday Senior Division. So, and long may that continue. So that's you're right, Martin. That's my connection with Gardeners. Yeah.
So how did you? What was the first step with obviously the Brentwood League? Did you go on the committee? Was you approached, or?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that's a good question. I was a secretary and had been for a number of years. So not only was I the manager of the Gardeners, I was a secretary of them and clubs before that. I've played for Murphy's Sports Bar and clubs before that. I've always taken a role within football, and the secretarial role was something I looked to do with great diligence and just make sure it was run properly. Because if that falls down, you've got problems. So, and I've been doing it for a number of years, and it was a funny scenario of events. There was an issue with our cups, one of our cup semi-finals, and we had to replay it. And there was a decision that the Brentwood Sunday League committee at the time, I wasn't on the committee then, had decided that we had to replay it because there wasn't enough minutes played in extra time. The referee had called the minutes short, and the opposition basically appealed and said that there wasn't enough time played. And I cited a few rules, the FIFA rules and FA rules, and made a bit of a nuisance of myself. But eventually we had to replay it, and we went on to win the cup. But there was a meeting, I think it was the AGM, and they were looking for a vice chairman, and the league secretary at the time and the referee secretary at the time just said, does anyone here want to do it? And I was stood at the back, and they just said, Andy, whether you like it or not, you're doing it because of the way that you made a huge nuisance of yourself. We think you'd be good on the panel rather than battling the panel. Yeah. So, and that's how it came about. So, yeah.
No, it's good. I mean, it's like Damo, and obviously I don't play now, but you know, Damo, he's a secretarial, does all the secretary work. You obviously play, you manage it as well, Damo. But Sunday morning, it's a nightmare for you sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very hard running the team. I mean, I've got an assistant, Tina, who's very good. Unfortunately, she does Saturday football as well. So the weekend just gone, she wasn't available to help me. So obviously, I've got to try and get everything sorted. I think the players don't realise what you do. It's probably the same in Martin. Like last night, for instance, just training. There's us looking for some balls, and because we thought the players had lost them, and we found them in the black bag, didn't we, Mark?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's my fault. I thought they kicked him in the bushes.
Yeah,
we found them. Yeah, but no, it's it's a thankless task. I mean, we all do it because we love it. Obviously, running the team or playing, or on the committee. Going back to the Brentwood League, Andy, how far? I don't know. I don't want to write. What's your ambition, or how far do you want the Brentwood League to go? Because I mean, we've got teams that are playing in them, obviously, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
Expanding.
Yeah, I mean, how far do we want to go? We've got to be cautious. We can't. Also, we've been going for 60 odd years now, so 63 years.
Yeah.
So it's well established. The issue is keeping that running, which, as you can see, many leagues can fold.
Yeah.
We've been very fortunate with people joining the committee, younger members. I'm not being ageist. We've got younger members who are hungry and looking to support the game, which is unheard of these days. So we've been very, very blessed with that. We want to go. The issue really is down to referee coverage. We could quite easily have 6-7 divisions of 13 teams in each division, but then not have the referee coverage. I think one of the last stats that I saw is in the UK, 10,000 referees have decided to not renew or leave the game. And that leaves a huge gulf, an enormous gulf. And we've all played games where there hasn't been an official in the middle of the park, and it does make a difference. It does make a difference. And I'm one, as you've heard me, Martin, the last couple of meetings, I'm one to champion officials. I think they do a fantastic job. Like players, they get it wrong. But we need to make sure that we have the coverage and the excellent support that we've benefited from so far. Ultimately, yes, increase the number of divisions. On the back of the success of the Lionesses, we're looking into having a Brentwood female league, an adult female league as well. So we're in very early discussions with the S9E4. Naturally, the FA are very, very protective of the women's league, which I get, because they need to make sure that it grows correctly. And it's just there's not a scattergun approach and people with different ideas of how it should be run. I think the FA are correct. It should come centrally, but I think, off the back of the growth of the female leagues that have done well, they're all coming to the age now of 17, 18, 19. Well, they want to keep going. Why should they stop? Why should they stop at 18, 19 years of age? The men don't. So why should the women? So we're looking into that now, and hopefully, fingers crossed, if we can do it, maybe next season we can be one of the first leagues, adult leagues, to have one in the Essex area to do that. So we have many opportunities, Martin. But what we don't want to do is, just aim at everything and fail at everything. We just want to take it piecemeal, do it right, and make sure it's done correctly, and we get the longevity that we've benefited from for the last 63 years as well.
Yeah. Going on to speaking about the ladies' football teams or women's football teams, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure the S6FA or the FA. I'm pretty sure there's funding. There's funding if you want to start a new women or girls football team. I'm sure there is. It's quite a bit. It's not a small amount. It's quite a good amount.
You're quite right. Steve Ince, he's a Essex League fixture guy. He's our vice chairman, and he's looked into this as well. There is a huge amount of funding for women's leagues, and rightfully so. It's got to grow. It's got to be up there with the men's leagues, and as soon as possible, I think. So naturally, they're matching that with the funding that's available. It's going to be interesting times. I'm quite excited about what happens now, and good luck to the women on Sunday. Fingers crossed they go on to win it. And after winning the Euros, we've all seen what's happened to women's football since then. I think it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Without a doubt. I mean, going on from Sunday, I know for a fact teams have got friendly matches and referees are pulled out because they want to watch the World Cup final.
This is
so
it.
It's sort of trickling down.
Yeah.
As I say, it's all. But again, just hope the women's football does kick off, if that's the right, the right word, because as I say, there's funding there. I think it'd be good for everybody. I'm going back at 2008, 2009. I've doing a bit of coaching at Tottenham, just football then. And that was like 15 years ago. You know, I got my niece,
the other issue is making sure
uh,
that there's also from the grassroots level is that the local councils support it as well. There's no point in the FA supporting it, and the leagues supporting it as well. If they're selling off land to build even more flats, we find that there's going to be far more competition now. They've got to think about this. There's going to be far more competition now for pitches than ever before. We're not going backwards, we're going forwards. So it's going to be interesting times ahead to see how they adopt that. I
mean, obviously, Damo, I think we've seen online and how much the councils are actually charging for pitches now, aren't we? About £2,000 a season, is it?
Yeah, it's just absolutely obscene amount of money. I mean, some in Barking and Dagenham are quoting silly prices. I mean, we haven't had our how much it's going to cost us this year to play, but you're looking at a minimum of £1,000 now for most grounds, and that's at some grounds that's not with changing rooms either. So it's just getting, like we said, harder and harder. I'd just like to see, I mean, nothing against women's football, I'm all for it, and the funding's there, but I would like to see some funding put down into the men's game, because it seems there's a lot of money being put into the children or the kids' game funding and the women's football, but there doesn't seem to be no funding available for adult men's team. And I just think it's a real shame, because we're the teams that are suffering more than anyone at the moment, especially with cost of living. Players, not every player can afford to play football anymore. I know people say it's only a £5, but that's 4 games a month, that's £20 a month. It doesn't seem a lot, but and obviously with petrol, Ulis, happening now. It's just getting really hard for teams, really. And I'd just like to. It's just a shame every Premier League club couldn't put a couple of million into a pot for grassroots football. Rather than spending this obscene amount of money, which I'm an Arsenal fan. Happy with Declan Rice, but you can imagine what a couple of million would do from each team into grassroots football.
I think you're absolutely right there, Damien. I think you're absolutely spot on. I believe that there should be some sort of internal taxation system onto transfer fees in the UK, that 0.025% of every transfer that goes through in the UK falls straight down into grassroots football. Now, if you're talking about £85 million per Beckham, 0.25% of that, I'm not a mathematician, that goes straight down into spread across football. The billions that is spent on transfers, and as a portion of that, I'm not sure the ratio is getting bigger. I think it's getting far less than it used to be. It's just not filtering down. And the issue I see is at the grassroots level is the playing spaces. There just isn't enough. There just simply isn't enough, and it's getting worse. And the ones that are left, it's supply and demand. You can up it from £1,000 to £1,500 in the next season, and just say, where else are you going to play? That's it.
Well, I think, to be honest, Andy, I think if football, I think with referee fees, and like I say, I'm not knocking them, fair play to them, but I think once that goes up to 50, 55 a game, I think your teams will just fold, because, no disrespect, you have 10 games, that's £550. That's a lot of money, plus your pitch fee, which is going to be a minimum 1,000. If you got a pitch that's 1,500, that's £2,000 a year. I mean, and the problem is the sponsorship is just not going there anymore. But there's a lot of pubs out there. A friend of mine, his local pub said, yeah, we'll sponsor you. We'll give you free £400 for kit, but we want you to come in every every Sunday, home and away games, and spend a minimum of £50. Well, when he worked it out, he said, well, hang on a minute, you're giving us about £300 to £400, but we're going to repay you with double that amount. So realistically, we're not getting nothing out of it, really, basically, by going back to the pub. And businesses are just not, whether it's because they can't write the tax off now, I don't know. Martin's runs a business, but so I don't know what the situation is regarding sponsorship now. Years ago, when we got sponsored by companies, they could write the tax off or whatever it was and have it as advertising. But unfortunately, it's just no sponsorship available now. It's just really hard, and you get these new teams that start up on a Sunday. Brilliant. Don't get me wrong. Advertising the latest kits they've got. Oh, we've got tracksuits kits there. We've got sponsor here, sponsor there, and brilliant, excellent. But for some of us, it's just a just a struggle every season, to be honest. I'll
tell you what I have seen is I'm seeing less and less teams going beyond 5 years. There's new teams coming in, lasting maybe 2 or 3 seasons and going again, and then two or 3 or 4 of their players are drifting into other teams within that league. We're not seeing what we saw years ago. I mean, Cherry Tree of Brentwood back in the 70s and 80s. We're going for 20, 25 years, well-established clubs, and just never looked like they were ever going to fold. Obviously, they've got to the age where they had to. But now what I'm seeing more, I think if the FA have information on this, is how many clubs and what the longevity of each club is for their period. And I think that's going to diminish as the seasons go on.
Yeah.
People are being squeezed.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, that's a good shout, Andy. Yeah, that's a really good shout. I mean, we're very fortunate at Devon Sports, obviously, but I mean, we do have all the players pay a membership, £1 a week, a small match fee. We do get sponsored by we help with money from Higgins, the building company, for using their car park, parking in our car park. But but again, we still had groundsmen to pay and this to pay and that to pay. But we are very fortunate. We know that. We do know that. It's just a shame to see all these teams struggling. It really is. I mean, I think 2 teams in the Brentwood, they amalgamated.
That's it's basically that. I think it was Crumpled Horn and Checkers, so it's Crumpled Checkers now. So it's add-on. So. They're fairly well-established clubs, very, very good size, great bunch of people. But they've it was either they both go, I would assume, and if they merge and they can go on for another season. But it's just a shame they couldn't stay in their own teams as it was before. But obviously, we're seeing teams that are struggling already before the season's even started.
Well, I think Damo agreed with this also. I think the team is struggling for players because I've seen so many advertisements, and including myself, I've stuck one out there, for players because, perhaps they've got families now, COVID, or I won't go with the football, I'll stay at home with the family, or they're working, which is fine, but like Devon on a Sunday, we used to have a load of youth teams. I started the youth section a long time ago. We ain't got no one at the moment. We've got no youth team. We did a few years ago, but nothing coming through. It's all adults football,
For me, COVID was a game changer for me. That was a huge game changer. It changed everyone's mentality. I've never known people not wishing to play football anymore as much as they do now. 20 years ago, you can't take a Polaroid picture of football, but 20 years ago, people were chomping at the bit on a Sunday morning to play football. And I go and watch quite a few Sunday games, and there's teams there with just 10, the basic 10 players, and or the bare 11. And it just seems to me that ever since then, that the mindset is that, I've got family, that's the most important thing, which naturally it is.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me people are just not willing to play anymore. And the costs, as Damo said, the costs involved in it now are going up and up and up. And it'll be interesting to see what effect ULEZ or what damage ULEZ does to the ability for referees to venture into the London boroughs. Players who then say, I'm not going to play in the Romford area.
I think that's a universal problem locally. It's not just Sunday football; it's all football.
Exactly this. And players going to be looking for an extra, step 4, step 5, whatever it might be, and looking for an additional money if they're going to venture into the London areas. It's going to affect those London clubs.
No, that's very, very, very true. But again, it's all down to money. Sunday football's all down to money.
Of course,
whether it's for the pitch, the referee, whatever it is, it's all down to money. And I understand why teams really do fold. I really do. If they're charging 1,500 quid, £2,000 for a pitch, I understand where they're coming from. I really do. I mean, you're at Hainault Rec, aren't you, Damo?
Yeah, we're at Hainault Rec. But the thing is, like I always try to put to, when I have chats with like the councils and things like this, I always say, I understand you've got overheads, and with changing room facilities, you've got hot water and things like that. A lot of my team, I'm not saying they're dirty or anything, but a lot of them like to go home and have a shower. I'm one of them, the old school. I like to go and have a shower after the game and do that. And most teams at our ground, there's only a few times players actually, out of all the teams that play at Hainault Rec, have showers. At the end of the day, it's a piece of grass and a goal. The goal's already up. All they've got to do is mark and cut the pitches. So the amount of money they charge, to me, doesn't warrant, the value for money we get. It's a piece of grass, and, certain times of year, they don't even have to cut the pitches during the winter. So it's absolutely crazy.
Damo, to be fair, there's not many games called off at Hainault Rec, is there?
To be honest, it's probably the one of the best pitches in the whole of London and in Essex. Yeah, I mean, but getting back to the players, I think what you're finding as well now is a lot of players are having children, and then their children are getting to 5 and 6, and they're going to watch them. Where, not being funny, I haven't got children, so I'm in a different position. But I always say to them, like, I've got people that play for me who are like 29. I'm giving up football now because I'm going to go and watch my boy. And even though I understand it and fair play to them, I sort of think to myself, but you still got so much to offer. And no disrespect, your boy is only 5 years old, 6 years old. It's not even, to me, it's proper junior football, like small pitches and everything. But
I think you're a bit harsh there, mate, yourself. If you've been a parent,
yeah,
you're
of course.
A little bit harsh. I'm fortunate to run a team with Callum and mini soccer and that, but I'm a little bit harsh there, because if you're a parent, I don't want to go into it all, but your boy's playing, or like my daughter playing netball, whatever it is, you do want to go. You do.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I totally agree, and you want to support them. But unfortunately, you're finding players are packing up earlier now, where before you pack up at 33, 34, years ago, there wasn't all these junior leagues, was there, Mark? 20, 30 odd years ago, you didn't have under 5 or under 6 leagues and under 7s and all this. So it's obviously changed, and that's why a lot of players are doing it. And like you said, Andy, life's too short. People want to spend time with their family. You don't know none of us know how long we've got on this earth, do we? So I mean, that's the problem, But it is a real shame. But it's unfortunately COVID, like you say, has changed it a lot, really. To be fair.
Maybe it is society. Maybe it is just, it's been spread, as you said, it's been spread across a far different age group and across sexes now. So it's been spread far more thinly, and that was always the way it was going to be, and rightfully so. And I think for the men's, some of the men's teams are finding their noses put out of joint a little bit, and it's been exacerbated by the financial costs and implications that are hitting clubs and leagues alike. And also referees and officials and what have you. So it's just going to be an interesting period over the next 5 years. I'm quite open-minded about things, but I'll be interested to see just what develops over the next 5 years, because I think it's going to be good for some and bad for others.
Yeah. Also, what's happening now, I found out, I think one game last season, if you support West Ham, Arsenal, Tottenham, or South London Club, or whatever, right? They kick off at 1, 2 o'clock now on a Sunday. I've had players go at half time. Where are you going? I told you what. West Ham at home. Can't get there. I mean, the kick-off time for the Premier League and what have you, that also has an effect on grassroots football, especially if a kid under 8 or under 9 as well. If they're mad, Tottenham fan and what have you, they want to go and see their heroes, so they don't play football. But it's so the Premier League is affecting their kickoff times. I noticed West Ham are playing 1 p.m. I don't know what day. I'll see it on telly today.
Martin, we've had teams put a request in to not play a Sunday game at 10:30 because West Ham are playing at home. and they're losing probably 75% of their players who are going to watch the game at West Ham. And I'm just like, guys, this league's been going for 63 years at 10:30 on a Sunday morning. But it's the Premier League is affecting it. It is affecting it.
Without a doubt. I mean, you wouldn't get that at Portsmouth because they won't kick off. They're not normally on telly, are they, Adam? But
it was the other night.
No, it is affecting it, and I know, I did see that actually.
Well, Mark, for instance, Tottenham are playing Arsenal on the 24th of September
right.
on a Sunday, and it's a 2 p.m. kickoff. I've looked at my Sunday fixtures, and I'm so lucky. We've got a game in Walthamstow, believe it or not, that day. So I'm literally 10 minutes from Blackhorse Road, where I usually go from. So I mean, that's lucky for me. But if I'd have been over, say, Thurrock or something like that, I would never have made it. Never have made it.
That's right. Yeah, and you paid your ticket. You paid your money.
Yeah, seasons ago. Yeah, so.
Sorry, I thought Adam was going to check in, but
I am here. I'm here. I'm just listening to the conversation. Yeah.
No. I really hope that the English FA or Essex FA, whoever starts helping out, as as Damo said, adults football, kids football, the women's football. Just get some money in there, I think I heard the Prime Minister the other day say, are we going to chuck some money at sport because of the Women's World Cup and what have you, which should have been done years ago, but that's another story. But as I say, we're very fortunate down at Debden, we really are. But I actually can see some teams folding halfway through the season. I can just see it, not in our league or, in local leagues. I can really see it that they're going to fold. They're struggling.
Especially if teams are down the bottom half of the league, and they're travelling into let's not all be doom and gloom, but they're going into ULEZ area and they're thinking to themselves, right, I'm already paying a £5 a week. I've already paid £100 signing on fee. I've already got to go down the pub to support it and spend 20 quid down there, and I'm about to lose my marriage because the missus doesn't like me anymore because I'm always down the pub after football. We're getting tanked every week, and we're in the bottom half, and we've got the top 3 teams the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Why am I bothering? No, do you know what, guys? I'm off. See you later. And it's gonna be. And I think the more teams receive end of January, February, March, players just walking away, and you see more and more adverts of players, more and more teams folding. Hence why I was saying this is going to be the next couple of years is going to be very, very interesting.
And the weather as well, Andy. The weather as well. That plays a big thing, doesn't it? The weather, it's nice when you've got like nice flat pitches and carpet pitches, but come sort of November, December, when you got damp pitches, muddy, cold weather.
You know what's a dead pitch like?
Yeah, the last sort of 5-6 years, sort of let's just for 1 second ignore COVID. The last 5, 6, 7 years, the winters are getting far, far worse. We're literally having to write off December right through to the middle of February. We hardly get games played anymore. And it affects all of our fixture structure. Are you having the same? Are you guys suffering? Did you suffer this in your previous leagues? Is this
well? No. To be honest, Andy, I mean we're very lucky over at Hainault Rec.
For your away games, because, for example,
we have done, and but the problem with us, we only get our pitch from October to March. So we've got to fit all our games in that time.
Wow.
So if we don't, then we lose out and we lose pitch dates. But there is quite a few teams you'll find with the private grounds are literally, they suffer more than what we actually do, to be honest. Because most of the park pitches, to be honest, they're pretty good. But some just some, and the problem you've got is they get overplayed on some of these pitches.
Yes.
And what I always used to get annoyed with the private pitches. They won't call the Saturday games off, but they'd call the Sunday games off. So you're paying the same amount of money. And then bear in mind, some teams, you'd have a pitch, say over at the old, Fairlock Oak playing fields near the Power League, basically. You'd have 2 teams having that on a Saturday, home and like 1 week they'd be at home, 1 week they'd be away. And then you'd have Sunday as well. And they were charging sort of £1,400 for a pitch there. Mm-hmm. So you've worked that out. That's what, maybe £5.5 they're getting in just from 4 teams for 1 pitch.
Yes.
Now that pitch would get overplayed on, right? That would get mullered on the Saturday. right? From the Sunday to the Saturday, it gets a nice week's rest, maybe rolled, maybe relined, maybe cut. Come Saturday, that ends up like a mud bath.
Yeah.
And then by Sunday morning, they look at it and they say, no, it's not playable. So the Sunday
did you guys ever have to play double headers towards the end of the season just to make sure the fixtures? Yeah. So I'm hearing from a couple of our teams in the Brentwood League that I won't name the council, but the council's obviously it's for people who are listening. It's 2 games an hour is the first game, and is now the second game. So effectively, the council, you're hiring for an hour and a half, but now you're hiring for 2 hours. The council, who shan't be named, have told the clubs no more double headers. If you're having a double header, we're charging you for an additional hour and a half on top of what's already been charged.
That is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I'm getting it verified, but I've been told that it's 100% true. Then that's going to have another knock-on effect, because if we then say to the clubs, guys, we've had a treacherous winter, we're now going into March, and you've got 3 double headers. Effectively, the committee is saying to these clubs, you've now got to pay an extra, including VAT, 120 quid per game. Now, the league can't support that. We could support it and subsidise that, but then other clubs who don't benefit from that will say, well, where's our subsidised games? If you're subsidising those, we've got to be fair to all teams. So now that's created an additional problem now for the league to anticipate going into. We've not even kicked a ball yet, and they've just thrown that into the works. It's like
the council's.
You got these double. You got these double headers going on, but Martin prefers trebles, but he don't like talking about them.
yeah. But no, you're right, Andy. I mean, at the end of the day, councils are suffering. Many councils are in debt up to their ear holes. But you know who suffer? The footballers. They think, do you know what? Footballers need to play on a football pitch, so we'll hit them in the pocket, and that's what happens. And like I said to you, it's just a piece of grass with lines on, with some goals that are already up. You haven't got to put the goals up; they're already there. All you've got, and these grounds, none of them supply their nets. You've got to take your own nets, your own corner flags, and you think to yourself, this is just absolutely ridiculous. And like I say, for an extra half an hour. You'd rather have some teams. I mean, and the problem we've got with park pitches, a lot of them have cricket. Yep. So we can't extend the season until May. It's just impossible. And to be fair, if you've got nothing to play for, and you get to a certain stage and you've got, say, 3 games and against the top teams, a lot of teams will be like, you know what, we'd rather save the money on referee fees. We'd rather save it, us going to the games. We don't want to play the game because, no disrespect, we're going to get stuffed. Mm-hmm. And a lot of teams towards the end of the season, Martin knows, if you haven't got nothing to play for, some teams would still want to play. I still want to play. I want to play every minute I can. But some teams would be like, we don't want to play, sod it, forget about it. And that's it. And then you have teams getting given points, and then other teams are like, well, hang on a minute, we had to play you twice. You're not playing that team. You're giving the team, and it gets a lot of grief and aggravation, and it's a shame really. But, the grounds now, the councils don't care, and even to be fair, even the private grounds don't care, because I think they rip teams off, to be honest. Because, like I say, beginning of the season, you get this lovely pitch. Come the winter, it's overplayed on. They're in the right state, and some of these grounds, it works out about 100. I think Martin, when we played over at where was it? Fell Up Oak playing fields. It was £1,300. We played 8 games there that season because there was only 9 teams in the division. And it worked out with referee nearly £200 a game, and one of that season we played over there, that was the season we had about 6 weeks. I don't know if you remember that season. I can't remember if it was 2016, might have been 2015. We had about 6 weeks worth of continuous rain, and the pitches were just waterlogged over there. And all they'd done is come and threw a load of sand on it. And then our pitch was the only one playable at the time. We've just played in it, cut it to pieces, even with sand on. And then there's another team waiting at the sideline. I said, what are you doing, lads? Oh, we're playing this pitch. I said, they can't play. Look at the state of it. Oh, the groundsman said that's the only pitch playable over here.
What's going to happen now is that it's all going to go to 3G, 4G pitches. It's more, if you look at teams like Aveley and Bowes and Pitsea, they've grown hugely by renting their pitches out over and over and over again. And obviously what's happened at Brentwood now, at the Brentwood Centre, is there's going to be a Brentwood hub, a football hub there. So obviously Brentwood Town are now going from the grass to a 3G, 4G pitch. They've got Project 3G on the go there now. That's been, the grass pitch is going at Brentwood Town. And from next season onwards, it's going to be a 3G, 4G pitch. And 3 or 4 other pitches on the periphery of it as well. So, and what will happen undoubtedly is the grass pitches here where they're now playing are going to go. There's going to be flats on there, and they're just going to roll these pitches over and over and over again. And we'll have to rename this program to be the 3G roots football as opposed to grassroots football, because it's the way that it's going to go. It's
what they want to charge.
A cash generator.
Yeah. It's what they want to charge, you know, Andy. That's the thing. I mean, a 3G pitch to hire is in some grounds 150 to 200 pound a game, and we just, you know, I mean, the average amount of money you can charge a player at the moment, and my club's kept it. I think Martin's the same. We charge £5 a game, and that don't. And to be honest, that doesn't cover costs. And every season, you know, I'll be honest, I have to put some money in out of my own pocket towards a pitch or towards something, maybe a couple of referee fees, because we just don't get enough money. And simple as that. But how can I start saying to players, right, I want a tenner a game? How can I double it? I just can't. You know, that would be, you know, what you've got. You know, very rare that you get 15 players. You know, but if you've got a 3G pitch, you've got to pay for. You know, and me personally, you know, I know that from a weather point of view, they're very good. I don't like the things. I can't stand them. I'm a grass man. You know, I don't mean that in a rude way. Like the old AstroTurf and grass.
What you do in your personal time doesn't even matter, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, I prefer grass pitches. I find with a lot of 3G pitches, I'm sorry, I still say there's a lot of injuries caused on these pitches. And I know a lot of players that have been injured. I know Martin played a cup final, I think it was Aveley a few seasons ago, and I think he had loads of players injured. They're, you know, and that's just my personal opinion, you know, but a lot of players like him. You know, a lot of clubs are doing it, but I find a lot of clubs are doing it not so much for to get their games in. It's a money maker, and I think what you've got to be very careful of with 3G and 4G pitches, unless you maintain them and they're laid properly, you're going to have the problem that Harlow Town had, where, you know, they basically could play on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, and overused, which, you know, a lot of these grounds are. You know, and like I say, Aveley's a lovely pitch. Barking, I think, have got one now, haven't they? But you know, me personally, I prefer the grass. But like I say, from a weather point of view, yeah, I can see them being used. But the problem is, Andy, it's the funding. You know, a 3G pitch is like, well, I remember when they were about £300,000. I don't know if they're that man. They might have gone up, they might have come down. I don't know, but I know that some clubs in the Redbridge, London Borough Redbridge, have tried to apply for them. But the ruling stated if there was three or four of the 3G pitches in the area, they couldn't get funding for.
Well, I'm surprised as well about how quick. I mean, the funding, you're right. I don't think you're too far away from maybe 200, 300 grand. But they can put them up in 12 weeks. And I found that astounding, because at Brentwood Town, we have our cup finals at Brentwood Town every season. And naturally, this season, 23-24, the end, come May next year, we have to move our cup finals, because from the 1st of May, the grass is being taken up and they're relaying it. In my head, I thought, well, where are they going to play? Where's Brentwood Town going to be playing at the start of the season, 24-25? Oh no, we're playing here. It's 12 or 13 weeks from grass being lifted up to it being completed. Astounding.
Okay. Great thoughts there. We're going to take a very quick break. Back in a couple of minutes, we'll be talking more Sunday football here on GFS. I don't know what that is.
Can't hear it now.
I haven't got a clue what that is. So, for our YouTube viewers, a bit of bonus content. Would Mr. Brazier like to explain the 4 pictures stuck up on the wall behind him?
No, just say we had our friendly against Dedham versus Hainault, and I got a bit of stick because my pace was apparently slow. I disagreed, and the guy on the touchline, Diggers, he took some photos on my phone, I didn't know about at the time, and he showed me them. So I popped down there and Loughton High Road, and for £1 each, I got them printed up. I thought I'll stick them on the wall, and you know, that's what it's all about. You know, the pictures make me look really quick. I'm going to put them up. You know, but no, just listen, a little bit of banter, a little bit of fun. That's all it is. That's all it is. Plus, I can't go downstairs because the missus is down there with her friends and such. So, you know,
has she locked you in the room and thrown away the key?
Well, she needed it on Sunday. Blimey, after our friendly match, I had a couple of pints. Well, I don't. You know, I'm not a pint drinker.
She wanted Martin to do butler in the buff, didn't she, and serve all her mates.
And like I've got Cal. He dropped me back. Asleep, Mr. Football woke up. I said, "Where's my dinner?" Fell back to sleep again. Went to bed at 9 o'clock, and I thought, I can't have 2 pints. That's it. I'm done. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Watching Spurs does that to you, Mark. Watching Spurs makes you drink, mate.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got Man United Saturday on 5:30. I quite like 5:30 kick off, but I'd be injured. I just don't know. I don't know about Tottenham. I just don't know. It's true. They obviously need a striker. I don't think Richarlison is the right person myself. But we'll see. Listen, we don't know, do we? So, you know, we've got the Arsenal on the 24th September, then in April. Then we've got West Ham in March, and I can't remember the other month. So,
yeah. I don't think any team's played particularly well. I mean, I know Man City beat Burnley 3-0. But yeah, they did. But I mean, even Villa had chances, didn't they, Mark? I'll be honest, Villa had quite a few chances. You know, I just think it's going to be one of them seasons where, I mean, injuries are going to. Well, we've got an injury straight away, haven't we, with Timber?
Yeah.
So that. But again, why are these players getting injured?
Well, it's same as the ladies. The ladies seem to be getting it worse.
Yes,
excuse me for 1 minute. Excuse me for 1 minute, please.
Yes, okay. Welcome back to the Grassroots Football Show on East London Radio. It is just gone 20 to 9. It's Adam here with, looks like we're in an art gallery. Andy from the Brentwood League. I was talking about Martin's photos, not yours, Andy.
A very poor gallery by the looks of mine.
It looks like a gallery that's had half its stuff nicked. Yeah, and obviously Ian is here as well. You can get in touch with the show at ELR Football on Twitter. Last 20 minutes, guys, by the way, to get your votes in for result of the week or result of the week. We had the Twitter poll going all day long. We picked 4 games for you to choose your result of midweek, and I can tell you the games that we have picked. Will it be Hackney Wick stumping 7-1 Derby win over Clapton last night? Southland Manors Derby victory at Benfleet 2-0 last night. Parkview's comeback at Tower Hamlets, and then Walthamstow Reserves impressive 4-1 victory over a very fancy Sporting Hackney side over at Wadham Lodge last night. And I can tell you the current state of play: Walthamstow Reserves currently lead with 46.5% of the votes. Clapton's defeat at Hackney Wick is in second with 30.3% of the votes. So you have got 17 minutes to get your votes in at ELR Football on Twitter. Just a couple of shout outs this evening. Shout out to Grant Moody, local referee. He has said everyone loves the Terence McMillan, Damien. Yeah. And evening to Just George, who wished me a happy birthday as well. As I said, you can get in touch with us at ELR Football on Twitter. Is there any shout outs? So Martin, is there any shout outs you want to do?
Yeah, I'm actually just going to give out one shout out to my sister, whose birthday is tomorrow. So Anne, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Have a good day. I'll be popping around tomorrow. Open a glass of wine for me, Maria and I. And happy birthday to my sister Anne. All the players at Debden. Shout out to the Brentwood League. I hope everyone has a great season. I hope everyone enjoys it. And hopefully this season we'll see Damo's wallet.
Hey! Yes. Yeah, well, obviously that game the other day was the Curtin Army against the Wallet Army. So, yeah. So definitely. Andy, have you got any shout-outs?
Well, yeah, you just mentioned Grant Moody there. He's actually on our committee. So, yeah, good shout out to Grant. Debbie Ward, also on our committee as well. Brian Taylor, Adam Gray, Stuart Burge, James Wright, everyone on the committee. Thank you for all your hard work to get us to this stage. And to all of the teams in the Brentwood Sunday League, let's have a fantastic season. Let's do yourselves proud and do the league proud and enjoy it.
Ian, shout
out. All the Harold Wood teams got to do it.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. My shout out to my Mrs. Charlotte. Love you lots. Shout out to Ella and the kids as well. Shout out to Pete and Scott, of course. And shout out to everyone who's wished me a happy birthday. Damo.
Yeah, it's all the Hainault boys, all the Barkingside boys, my other half, Elisa, and all the grassroots football clubs out there. I hope you have a great season and a great weekend, and hopefully you'll win at the weekend if you've got a referee.
Yeah. And where's actually, speaking of the curtains, we're missing another member of the Cameo family. Where's Woody?
Well, do you know what the funny thing is? We've got this new 3-piece, and he can't sit up here anymore. He can't. He's quite thin at the back. So yeah, he's actually he's a kip on the floor at the moment. So yeah, but I will next time. I will position the settee so he can be involved in the show. But yeah, he's asleep at the moment. Old age.
Yes. So yes. Right, a couple of things quickly before we move on. A couple of notices. Following obviously our discussion earlier about the game between Damos, Hainault and Martins Debden. We did actually see some of the footage and the videos. Obviously, since then we were actually going to do personal training with Martin Brazier as a regular feature on GFS, but unfortunately we couldn't find any other volunteers. Yeah, so yeah, and also it's been interesting. The DMs have blown up. We've been in and there's some very, very desirable people out there, men and women, who are very liked the photographs. We've been inundated with requests for calendars for next year. One says here, I'd rather have rather than a good-looking celebrity, I'd rather have Martin and Damo on my wall. Yeah.
Very good, that Adam. Very good.
Yeah, I do think though most of them will probably postmarked Loughton or Hainault and your relatives. Yeah.
I think the last video we done where Martin come on, I thought that was just, I've said it on Twitter, that was just two old boys who respect each other, the little sort of like shake hands and arm around each other. I thought that was, that's why we go out there on a Sunday morning. We're good mates. We have a bit of banter. We don't always agree with each other. We're like Indian bracket, I suppose, if you want to call it. Like
what are the Chuckle Brothers?
Or Malcolm and Wise. But no, we do respect each other, and that's what we go out there on a Sunday morning for.
So see, obviously, I'm going to bring Ian in on this one because they've obviously appealed to the women out there. That's one way we could raise funds for the East London Radio DAB license, a Martin and Damien charity calendar.
Yeah, could be really popular.
Yeah, it could be really popular. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Can I just say that if we do that, all clothes will be kept on. It's not going to be before anyone says anything. Yeah.
If me and Damo are going top this, the rest of the radio boys.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm sure our listeners and viewers, we won't be going top list.
No. Definitely. So a reminder, just going to quickly get your guys' views. The results of midweek poll. What would you guys pick if you had to choose? Because obviously it was between Clapton 1, Hackney Wick 7, Benfleet 0, Southend Manor 2, Tower Hamlets 2, Parkview 3, and Sporting Hackney 1, Walthamstow Reserves 4. So what would you guys pick?
I think it's a Clapton game for me. The Clapton, is it? Did you say Sporting Hackney? No, did you say Hackney Wick?
Clapton versus Hackney Wick. Yeah,
definitely.
Mine. What would you pick?
I voted online. I think it was Tate. Did you say Tately?
Clapton versus Hackney Wick. Benfleet sat. No. Benfleet, Southend Manor, Tower Hamlets, Parkview, and Sporting Hackney, Walthamstow Reserves.
I think I don't know what I've done there. Southend Manor, I can't remember.
Yeah. What about you, Andy? What would you have?
Yeah, I've got to agree with Damo. I think it's Hackney Wick against Clapton. It's not me. Sorry for Clapton. Actually, my nephew used to play for them, but not often you put 7 past a team, and to do so, especially at that level, it's got to be Hackney Wick for me.
Yeah, in effect, actually, in a weird sort of way, I know it's played at Terry Matt, but in effect, it's actually a Hackney derby in a way, if you think about it.
Well,
obviously, Hackney Wick from Hackney. I live in Hackney. I actually live in Clapton, believe it or not.
Hackney still played at Whittam. They're still sharing Whittam Town.
Hackney Wick are still playing at Whittam, which as a Hackney resident, I think is ridiculous because
I agree.
How can you have this borough is one of the very few that hasn't got a non-league ground, and like obviously Tower Hamlets has got Mile End, Newham's got Terry Mack, Haringey got their grounds, Waltham Forest have got Walthamstow and Leighton Orient, Redbridge you've got Ilford, Barkingside, you've got Cricklefield, Fremford, and you've got Oakside as well.
Yeah, so Romford no stadium, Hackney Wick no stadium. It's crazy.
You've got the Hare and Hounds sitting there doing nothing. You've got the Hare and Hounds there sitting there doing nothing, and you just think yourself, and why can't teams play at the London Stadium, Ed? The little pitch outside there.
Apparently, it doesn't pass the ground grading because Hackney Wick tried to go in there. But I'm not being funny, and I mean this in the nicest possible way. I don't know if you guys would agree with me. That little, I think Andy will know the little stadium you little talk about. Yeah. Surely that passes more ground grading than the Terence McMillan.
I'm shocked that it doesn't. Very shocked. There's got to be some peculiar reason as to what a team plays in there at the moment. I can't remember who they are now.
They're Stonewall. That's step 7.
Oh,
you can get away with it at step 7.
Yes. Yeah. So so why can't Hackney Wick play on there? Yeah,
because he's not up for the step 6 grading.
It's crazy. I don't accept that.
And like obviously, if someone plays there, say you get a senior team like Hackney Wick or someone that plays there, if West Ham are at home, you can. No. What you could do, you could juggle your kickoffs. You either play Friday night if you want to avoid it, or say West Ham have got a 3 o'clock, you could put a 12 o'clock or 5:30. Then you've got to win, and people come in and watch that before they go in.
Well, this is it, and it's going to boost their funds as well. If they're selling merchandise, what have you, and then the buzz for the players playing in front of maybe 1,000, 2,000 West Ham fans before they go and watch the West Ham game. That would be amazing.
Yeah, Hackney Wick did try to get in there, but before a couple of years back. But as when they've changed their or merged with Bari to become Hackney Wick, before they went to Clapton. And they moved out. They actually tried to go in there, but they were knocked back by the FA and the Thurlow Nunn or whoever it was because the ground.
It's just a shame, Ned. It's just a shame. Both Claptons can't sit down, have a chat, and share the bloody ground. I mean, it's just, I know there's rivalry. There's a lot of things have gone on, but from a footballing point of view, if you love your football and you want to help teams out. Can't you just play in the same ground? Come on, I mean, it's not a terrible thing, is it? Really, And this is what annoys me with councils and people that hire out these pitches. Hell, try and help everyone out. Why isn't the FA pump money into grassroots football to get the Hare and Hounds up and running again? Woodford Town, State Lane East old ground. Surely it would be more beneficial to pump money into these grounds. Maybe have 3G pitches. You if you hire out the venues, you'll get your money back. I just for life of me, I just can't understand it. Why they don't pump money into it.
Isn't the old what's the ground in Leighton you just said?
Leighton Wingate, it's the Hare and Hounds pub.
Leabridge Road.
Leabridge Road.
I'm pretty sure private businessman owns that. It's not council owned or anything like that. Someone like doing it. I don't know.
Cos owned it, didn't he, Ed? Remember Cos?
Yeah. Costas, that's it.
Costas, Cost owned it, and unfortunately, Cost passed away. And I don't know whether his family have got any rights there. I know that the pitch is just abused and used as a car park, which is for the restaurant, the E10 Club, I think. And to look at that ground, I mean, it's just pitiful, really. It really is disgusting the way it's just been left. And the same was. Go on, Mark. Sorry.
No, I was going to say what that ground can do for the community is unbelievable.
Well, exactly. I mean, not being funny, you could have Hackney Wick playing there, and you could have Sporting Hackney or someone like that playing there. You know, I mean, why has a football ground never been built at Hackney Marshes? Prime location, big enough. Why have they not built a stadium there? They've got a what's the pitch they play on there? At the main pitch there. Do you remember that there's a main pitch at Hackney Marshes just outside the Thames?
Mabley Green. Yeah.
Yeah, but also you've got a pitch that was roped off, which they play Hackney Leighton play their cup finals there. You know, why can't they do something there? You know, you've got
money, mate, money.
Yeah, you've got what's the ground, the one in Walthamstow that used to have the arena pitch. What was that one called? Oh, Walthamstow, Lowell Farm. They had a lovely pitch in the middle there. That could have definitely made that into a semi-professional pitch, but I don't know. I just don't understand it.
How many teams play at Lowell Farm now? Sunday teams?
I presume they still. Well, I haven't heard it being used, to be honest, Mark. To be honest, I mean, but you've got some really good sports places in Walthamstow. You've got Douglas there. You've got I can't remember the other one. There's another one near Arsenal's training ground. I can't remember the pitches there. Up in near Chinkford way. I can't remember. Chris O's team used to play there years ago. I can't remember the name of the place. Peter May Sports. Peter May is Peter May football pitches.
Academy, isn't it?
Academy, yeah, but literally next door. But yeah, it is a shame. But unfortunately, the councils ain't going to build a stadium or pump money into it. So I just think we're probably hitting our head against a brick wall regarding getting pitches in the boroughs.
Also, Andy, just changing the subject slightly. I think
I'm going to come on to pitch something quickly, Martin, because I've got a message here. But if you finish what you're saying, when I'm just reading this,
I was going to say, Andy, obviously, previous correspondence, you're a fan, support of Brentwood FC.
Yeah.
I noticed on Twitter, I think, is it Eddie Hearn? Does he sponsor the team now? Or?
Barry Hearn and Matchroom. Yeah, his company Matchroom are now sponsoring Brentwood Town for the next season. So there's a huge amount going on at Brentwood Town, a huge amount. Jez Dickinson and John Schultz and the guys there. There's the Project 3G, which obviously is going to be a 3G pitch for next season. But and Barry Hearn's now come on board as well. Brentwood has been sort of left behind for a number of years, and Jez is now the chairman. It's a club going forward. It'll take us a little while to get somewhere, but it's a great little club and in a great part of Brentwood. But something had to happen with regards to the stadium, and thankfully that's now going to happen. But it's a development that shouldn't take too long. As I said previously, it should take 13 to 14 weeks maximum, and then it'll be a brand new setup at Brentwood. So, and we're happy to have Barry Hearn on board as well. Yeah.
I'm just going to go for a message that I've actually just received, and the person that sent the message has actually asked for him and his club to remain anonymous, because they were just heard. What?
Well, carry on.
No. What do you call it? And they were obviously just listening to our discussion about pitch hires, and ironically, that little stadium that you was referring to, Andy, next to the London Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This person has said to me he doesn't understand why it's been it's not up to step 5 up to step 5 or 6 standard. He said it's a lot better than some grounds that are currently at that level. It's an all-weather running track around it. Obviously, it's a full-size 11-a-side grass pitch, fully floodlit fields, elevated, fully covered, 300 seated spectator stands with 12 disabled areas. You don't get that at a lot of step 5s. To say male, female, and change rooms complete with shower and toilets, and there's a club room as well. He goes, my club went in and asked to hire the venue for a season, and they play at step 6, right? The quote that he was charged, right, for the whole season for that ground for 21, well, actually, because they were drawn at home in the League Cup, 22 home games, Have a guess how much the quote was.
Don't say
from that
20,000.
venue.
Don't say £20,000 for the season or something silly like that.
Martin?
I would agree with Andy, actually, around about that figure.
I bet more. More.
£51,084. 430 an hour plus VAT, which makes 2,322, including VAT, a game.
Was that the charge for the season? Or is that what they're just charging per hour and they've just accumulated it up? Is that
Yes,
is that the actual charge for the season?
Yes, that's what they were quoted. And basically, they told them basically to F off.
Basically, it's 50 grand.
And the message here also says that covers the timings that you would need to use it for senior football. Say Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. through to 5:30, because you need to have the ground open at 1 o'clock.
Who owns that stadium, Ed?
It is the London Stadium. It's LLDC, isn't it?
LLDC that owns it, yeah. And West Ham.
Nothing to do with West Ham.
No, at the moment, we've got the purchasing rights, I think, in the next 12 months, and we can purchase it. If it's sold now to West Ham, we have to give 35% back to the LLDC or something happens there.
The thing is, Andy, could the grounds around there be made into West Ham, another training ground for West Ham, or is it just not big enough?
I don't think it's big enough as a club. I think that was the initial idea when the Olympic Stadium was being used, is to have that. But obviously, West Ham had down London playing fields down by Chapel Heath beside the railway tracks, and they moved down to Rush Green, and that's still being used by Sunday League teams now. But you would have thought something. The area that's there. 51,000. That is absolutely.
And the person's just sent another message. I agree that it definitely is good. It is good enough for the ground grading. However, the point that you and Andy made regarding playing when West Ham, we were also told if we was to take or the lease or the rent there,
they can't play on it.
They can't play on it on West.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Public sessions and sessions would have been cancelled due to stadium events. So basically, and apparently the league, the FA and the league weren't happy with that, because obviously, in a way, Andy, you can see in a way why, because with Sky TV, they're going to move games to Friday night, Saturday lunchtime. It's just, and it would just play havoc with other bookings and anything like that. So I can kind of see the FA stance there, because you're not in a way, you're not in a secure. You've got security of tenure, but you've not got guarantee that you're going to play every whatever because of bookings that have already been there. And if Sky decide to move a game and what have you, so I can kind of see their point there.
I think there's a completely separate entrance to it, so you can't actually, if they wanted to, they could block access to it, and the clubs, if they're playing in the morning of a game, say West Ham are playing at 1 p.m. on a Sunday, and the team are playing on the Sunday morning, they could do that. And by the time they finish at West Ham, all the fans start arriving at West Ham, they'd be long gone.
Yeah,
so I don't. I struggle with that. Do you know what? This is what I'm saying about. I'm just concerned what's going to happen over the next 2 or 3 years. That's £51,000. Whoever you are, send it in. Thank you for sending that in. But I'm absolutely astonished.
Yeah. So they will remain anonymous, but they are an East London or local-ish club who applied for step 6 or whatever. Yeah, or tried to go for step 6. Yeah. And stuff like that. So result of midweek, and on a lighter note, well done to Walthamstow Reserves. They are the winners of our results of midweek, 46%. Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. So well done to them. Great result out of Sporting Hackney. So okay, we'll obviously talk about the Brentwood Sunday League, obviously. So obviously, Damien, you've been moved over as well. You've been moved over to the Corinthian. They've got about 600 divisions this season. You're in about division 326, aren't you? Yeah. So we was talking to Rob about this last week, but they've had a massive influx because obviously people moving from other leagues and because of the what do you call it, the combination folding as well. Interesting. You're in a league with Athletic Newham and Woodford Town this year.
Yeah, I mean, we were asked what sort of division we wanted to go into, and obviously we're on a lot of our players now in their 30s. Well, I'm in my nearly late 40s now.
If it's an old boys club, just get Mark to play for you.
Yeah, he's going to sign. He's going to sign. Yeah. just can't afford his wages at the moment. But no, I mean, it's we've got some tough teams in there. I mean, I think the Athletic Newham, I think they might be associated with a football club, but I don't think they're any of their Saturday players will be playing on Sunday. I mean, if they were, then I don't think it'd be very good, really. And same with Woodford Town. I just think what it is, these clubs are getting Sunday clubs associated with them, which, to expand the club, which is good. Like Andy was saying with women's football, clubs are getting women's teams in. So yeah, it's going to be really difficult. It's going to be our first season in the Corinthian. I've played in the Corinthian many years ago for Debden and Faden Boyce as teams years ago. So yeah, it's a well-run league. It's got a very good committee. I think it's got 7 divisions, which is with I think an average of 11 teams. Or I think it's about 85. I think it's about 85 teams or something like that. Maybe a bit more than that. So yeah, it's going to be strange playing in a different league, to be honest. But we're up for the challenge. And like I say, we were thinking about packing in football when the kick combination folded, but no,
we weren't.
You what? Sorry, mate.
No, you were. We weren't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So yeah, we as a club we were, because we were really gutted about it.
There's 8 divisions, by the way, Damo.
8 divisions, yeah. But we decided to carry on, and we're going to give it a crack. Like I say, it's a very well-run league, and then we'll go into the looking to enjoy it like we have the last few seasons. But yeah, it's going to be strange, really strange one, to be honest. I'm going to
go through the combination, the constitution. That's the correct word. Some obviously for this league, some teams that you will know and recognise. I'll quickly fly through the divisions as quick as I can. In the senior division, you've got Beatty Squad, Brook Athletic, Club 1017, Critics, Fly FC, Fly House Athletic, Hatch Lane, old East London name there. London All Stars and Total Football. In the Division 1, you have got Abridge Village, who you know well, AC Milano, Barking Dagenham Wanderers, Barking Riverside, Bench Views, that's probably a substitutes team, Synosy, Gants Hill, JK Silvertown, FC Culture Club, one of Boy George is the manager, Roos and St Augustine's. In Division 2, you've got Ainsley, Belfry, Cloud 9. Well, we know what's going to happen soon if they win the league. Colebrook's Rolls Vets, Dagalanta. I like that, Dagalanta. That's good. Debden Sports Reserves. Blimey, okay. East London Ballers, FC Condor, FC Galaxy, Higham Hill and Leytonstone Athletic. In Division 3, Asianos, Barking, City Site, FC Leytonstone, Inside Success, JP8, Sing Sabah Barking, South Ilford Catholics, who you both know very well, United Amateurs, and Upshire Forest and Valence United. In Division 4, Byron Red Star, Cardinals Athletic, Colbrook Reserves, Eastern Avenue, Horse and Well, Kit Out London, Prospect Protégé, Silencio, Warren Senior, and a Woodford team. In Woodford Town actually been moved up, so you haven't got them in your league anymore. Division 5, Ace Athletic, Alpha, Athletic Durham, Coppice Row, some team called Hainault, Lonsdale, Manford Way, Mansfield Rangers, a bit of a long trip in it, Damo. May and Baker, Royal Lions, and Young Royals. In Division 6, Barking Colts, Bryman's Park, Chinkville Athletic, Epping Royals, FC Mexico B, London Legacy, Mayfield Kings, Titans United, Valence United, Woodford Town Reserves, and Ultimate Vision. And finally, Division 7, then I'm going to shut up. We got Colbrook Rolls 8, Debden Sports 8. Bloody, how many teams you got? Emerson and Upminster, Epping Forest Falcons, Gatcliffe, Ping City Phoenixes, Ridgeway Rovers, Royal Lions C, Warren United, and Zone 4 Athletic. So, very, very competitive league.
I think, Damo, you're playing a Debden A team on Sunday, aren't you?
That's right. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it should be a good bunch
you're
of
on mute,
lads,
mate. And my team, or Debden first team, are playing Debden reserves. So I'll be sharp my studs for that one. But that's going to be a physical game on Sunday. So we'll be seeing Damo again on Sunday. Perhaps he's finally wanted to get a drink.
Hey! But
I thought he was on mute.
Yeah. But obviously, so Damo, obviously you're happy to be in the Corinthian League. You're looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, me and Martin spoke about it. I mean, no disrespect. I'm looking forward to it. Brentwood League was a league we looked at. I'm not just saying it because Andy's there, but unfortunately for a lot of our players, the travelling would just be too far, to be fair. But who knows in the future? Maybe we could, join the Brentwood League in years to come. I don't know. But yeah, the Corinthian for us, really, to be fair, was just a bit more local, really. To be honest,
understandable.
We'll give it a go. That's all we can do. Give it a go. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. What I was going to say, Andy, with some of the teams that are around that area, do you think maybe there could be a time in the next couple of years, obviously with the Corinthian having 8 divisions, do you think that there might be a time where you could attract some of those teams that are in that area to come over to your end to expand your divisions a bit more? So there's a bit of I wouldn't say a bit of a fairer share of the club, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we'd welcome it. It depends on the teams. I don't want to talk about other leagues and what have you. They're doing a fantastic job. We'd love that. We'd absolutely love that. But as I said earlier on in the conversation, just making sure we have the referee coverage as well, and making sure that we have enough games covered each week. But absolutely, I'd love it. We had another couple of divisions and teams that want us to join the Brentwood Sunday League. We're more than happy to hear from anyone.
Definitely. Just quickly, before we carry on this Sunday conversation, just to keep people up to date, the latest scores. Europa Conference League, it's Hearts 2, Rosenborg 1, 3-3 on aggregate on the nights. And Luzern 1, Hibernian 1. Hibs lead 4-2 on aggregate. And as it stands, they're going through to play Aston Villa in an all-British playoff qualifier for the group stages. I mean, Damo, I know you've got affiliations. It's been Hibs against Aston Villa, an all-British affair to go in the Conference League. I mean, that would be one heck of a game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'll be cheering on Hibs, my Scottish team, definitely. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Also, I think, Andy, when your team you support is Derry City, aren't they playing tonight?
Yes, they're in the. I'm just looking it up. Actually, they're in the Europa Conference League tonight. They're playing Tobol from Kazakhstan at home. And they're currently 1-1 in the game. No, it's 1-0 to Derry, and it's 1-1 in aggregate.
Okay.
So yeah, Derry City hopefully can progress from that.
How come you like?
Your lights have gone out, it seems.
Oh yeah, what's going on there? What's happened there?
Put 6 minutes in the meter.
Andy, how come you're a fan of Derry City then?
My family are all from Derry. My mother, father, brothers, sisters, were all born there. And in fact, I'm there in Derry next month to go and see the family. So, but I was actually born here. I've actually got a, you can see that or not. So that's Derry in Gaelic.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I've been to London, Derry. It's a nice place.
Derry, as we call it. There's a huge difference. We won't go into that tonight. There's a huge difference.
To be fair, I've got a bit, in a way, I'll mention my missus. She's from Comber, which is just outside Belfast.
Wow.
Obviously the Easter Belfast. So obviously she's all unionist 12th of July. So she would serve her. Actually, she's just texted me London, Derry. Yeah.
Told you. There we go.
Yeah. Hang on. She's just texted me again. She goes, Derry City wanted to use Windsor Park. Make their mind up. London Derry wants to be in the UK or not.
To be fair, Institute from the waterside in Derry actually used the Brandywell in the bog side of Derry. So that's a very staunch unionist club actually used Derry City.
I know.
For a year because I think their pitch got waterlogged over.
There were some floods, wasn't there? Yeah,
huge floods. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. She's a Glentoran fan, so yeah, she's been to Institute a few times. Yeah, so but I must admit, London Derry is a lovely city. I've been there quite a few times. Yeah.
Derry is
and
wonderful.
I don't know if you watched Derry Girls. That is a great program.
Yeah, it's very funny actually. Very, very funny.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. But yeah. So yeah, good luck to Derry City as well. I think they have had some good European matches before, haven't they?
Who, Derry?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually played against PSG. I think it was about 10 years ago. We beat. Do you remember Gretna in Scotland, who had the funding from the local Gretna guy, and they played.
Yes.
They lost in the cup. Didn't they lose in the cup final? It might have been to Hibs or even
Hearts. They
Hearts.
got to League One, weren't they? They got all the way through.
Right. That's right. And then they played Derry in I think it was the UEFA Cup then, as it was then. And then we beat Gretna and then beat somebody else. And we actually played PSG. So we had Derry City at the Brandywell. But I can't remember what players were there, but some fairly prestigious players. It might be 2012 from memory, I think it was. So, but yeah, we've had Ronaldinho, I think, scored his first ever goal for Barcelona at the Brandywell.
Jesus,
Yeah, a bit of news for you there. Yeah.
That's honestly, I knew you played in Europe. I didn't know you played such high prestigious opposition.
We've done nothing with them, but I think we drew 1-1 with PSG at the Brandywell and lost 2-1 at Parc de France. I think.
Yeah, I think I know. Obviously, because you could say in a way that is grassroots in a sense, bit of because if you look at it, because if you look at it, the other nations of the UK and obviously and Ireland as well. I mean, the League of Ireland teams, you've got Dundalk and Shamrock Rovers have flied the flag there in recent seasons.
Yes.
But always in the early qualifying rounds, you get the Welsh teams, especially the Welsh and the Northern Irish teams, bar Derry City, obviously you go in the Republic of Ireland League.
Yeah.
They don't, and suppose you could say a lot of the Republic teams as well. You go in this you go in these qualifying rounds, but you actually treat it as a massive party because deep down you know you're not going to get anywhere unless it's a blooming miracle. But it's just that's to you lot, like I'm talking about Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, as it would be to get far in the Champions League, like Tottenham or something like that, or like West Ham. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
As a ratio of finances, I suppose against turnover, it is probably the equivalent of a club like West Ham getting into the Europa Conference final or Europa League this season. It's a huge deal because it attracts better players. But for someone like Derry City or Glentoran even to get to these stages, it can set them up for maybe 3 or 4 seasons. They don't have to worry about the player finances or development of the ground. It just ticks them over and they can move up in the League of Ireland or the Northern Ireland League or the Welsh League. It just gives a bit of security to the team.
I'll tell you what, one thing I will mention, and it's just entered my head, there's a couple of really great stories about the qualifiers this year. You've got Haverford West County, first time ever in Europe. They played their home games for the Conference League at Cardiff. And that was like massive big deal to them. And the profile of that and the exposure and the night they got was for them 2 rounds of that. It's like you said, it just sets them memories and it sets clubs up for a long time. But my favourite story of this is a club on the Faroe Islands called KI Klaksvik. I don't know if you read about this.
Yes.
They are from the Faroe Islands, which obviously is just about 200 miles north of Scotland. Now we've watched the Faroese on the in the qualifiers, international qualifiers, and they're a bit like Andorra and they in San Marino. They don't go nowhere. But Klaksvik have become. They've got to as far as the 3rd qualifying round of the Champions League.
Well, they're guaranteed group stage European football.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say because they pushed Molde, the Norwegian champions, all the way. They beat the Swedish champions. And they are the first ever team from the Faroe Islands to be guaranteed European group stage football. Because obviously where they were now knocked out in the 3rd qualifying round of the Champions League, they'll go into the Europa playoff round. If they probably lose that, they'll go into the group stages for the Conference League. So they could end up playing Aston Villa or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And what a story. I mean, that's an equivalent of, say, an Essex Senior League or Third Land team getting there. It's just... It's an unbelievable story.
What's happened? So I'll have to look it up. I don't know what's changed for them to get into it. Is it just dedication? I don't know. Dedication.
Do you know what I think this is one thing that the Europa Conference League I think is going to do, and it's not. And I suppose it is a grassroots thing because it's not going to. We mentioned obviously the UK nations and Ireland there, but I think across the whole of Europe, you're going to have these grassroots smaller clubs that will get same attendances as Isthmian League teams like Brentwood and Walthamstow.
Yeah.
They now know because they're that third tier competition, and the Faroese and teams and Kosovan teams and the likes of Dundalk and that just prove it that it can happen for it. Yeah.
European teams coming to a Faroese town, coming to an Irish town, a Welsh town, that if they finished third or fourth in previous seasons would never have entertained them, never have been there. So it's fantastic.
And they've got the chance, and also as well, you've got obviously as well from a domestic point of view. I mean, if you look in it north of the border up in Scotland, I mean, Andy, when was the last? And obviously Damo being a Hibs follower and Martin being a Celtic follower.
Ditto.
What?
So I like Celtic.
Yeah, my missus supports Rangers, but let's not go there. But being serious, Andy, outside the old firm, apart from obviously Hearts last year, when was the last time do you remember a Scottish team getting to the group stages of Europe, bar Celtic and Rangers?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, apart from the 80s with Aberdeen, Dundee United, it just hasn't happened. I think that there's a stat where I saw Dundee United run unbeaten against Real Madrid. Real Madrid have only lost to one team in 4 occasions. That was Dundee United, and that was back in the 80s. You're right. But if you look at the finances of all of the Scottish Premier clubs, Celtic, I think, just Rangers just to one side because of the financial difficulties had in the past. If you take Rangers and Celtic out of it, Celtic's profit and loss is 10 times the team in third. That's crazy. That's crazy. How are they supposed to compete?
And the thing is, obviously, there's a lot of that Scottish clubs in a way want the Celtic and Rangers to go into the Premier League or the English league system like Cardiff and Swansea have. But at the same time, they've got to be careful for what they wish for, because when Celtic and Rangers come to town, that's for a lot of these clubs like your Livingstons and Ross Counties, that's their paydays.
If you look at you're right. If you look at the Ross County, the Livingston games, 2/3 or 3/4 are filled up with the opposition fans. Yeah. And that's
Celtic or Rangers mainly.
Celtic or Rangers, and the main
or Aberdeen mainly as well. Yeah, it's just like if they went up. I think in a way for them, if they were to transfer, I think it's got pros and cons. Scottish football, the cons, the clubs will lose out a lot of money, but the pros they think they've got a realistic chance, and then it would add exposure to the English game as well. Obviously,
absolutely.
Definitely, it'll be brilliant. Let's go back to our Sunday football minute. We'll keep an eye on the Europa scores. Andy, so when does the Brentwood League start?
Sunday, the 3rd of September is the first game. The fixtures are due out shortly. We have a slight issue with regards to one particular council who haven't allocated 3 teams their designated pitch, so they should be out either tomorrow or I would say probably the start of next week, middle of next week, they will be out.
Yeah, so
Sunday, the 3rd of September.
On full time in the Brentwood League, is there a cup draw, a couple of cup draws on there already?
You'll have a divisional cup draw, and then you'll have the Ken Robinson Knockout Cup, which is every division.
Yeah. I think the Division 1's already on there, the cup draw.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because we're going through the testing, and if it's ready to go, it's ready to go. It will be published.
Yeah, fair enough. I completely understand. So who did you get in the cup, Damo? I mean, Damo, Mark. Do you know? Who? No, I'm talking about I meant you, Mark. Who did you get in the divisional cup and the Ken Robinson Cup, or is that not?
He won't know.
No,
he
won't know that yet.
No,
we won't know yet. We'll probably know in the next few days. So listen, we're looking forward to challenge, meeting new people, playing football. honestly, the boys are really looking forward to it, and hope it's a good season.
Oh, it's great to have you on board, Martin. It really is, and we hope you do enjoy it, and just enjoy yourselves.
So I got a warm welcome. I don't think I told Andy, but obviously you get interviewed, don't you? But I might come to. It was new to me because normally I just joined the league, come in, and that's it. I went there,
that would have been interesting for you.
Yeah. But obviously I knew Grant obviously was there, which I remember from refereeing and that. And no, honestly, everything's been good so far. So I'm just praying that it's a good season, the weather's good, and everyone enjoys their football. All the we've got enough rest. It's the same for everybody. We're looking forward to it, honestly. And the boys, more importantly, the players are as well.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
Definitely. So obviously tell us about your cup competitions that you do.
In the Brentwood Sunday League, so we have obviously each divisional cup. Obviously it's 11 teams in each one, so there's always one team that gets a bye into the next round. But that's played, obviously the first 2 rounds are hopefully done before the start of December, weather permitting. And then we have the Ken Robinson Knockout Cup, which basically is an all divisions go into it. Sungate were the winners last season of that one. Basically, if you're a Div 3 team, you can end up playing a team that's at the top of the senior. It's not seeded. We don't put any teams into the next round if you're into the in the senior division. There's no buys. Literally, you could have 6 teams in the senior division playing each other in 3 fixtures, so they could be eliminated, 3 of them straight away. It just makes it a bit more interesting. And Ken Robinson, it was named Ken Robinson Knockout Cup because he used to be on the committee and sadly passed away. So it's named after a previous committee member.
Yeah, that's good. What was I saying, Martin? You're very much looking forward to this then.
No, genuinely, yeah. It's a new beginning, if you like. New beginning. I said before, new teams, meeting new people. And I said to Andy, a few minutes ago, the players are generally looking forward to playing, which is, quite nice. I've had a, good turnout in pre-season. Damo obviously comes as well. A little bit different from training when you're playing, obviously. We played Rainham Rovers. I think we played them in a friendly. I was ill actually, I didn't go, but played them in a friendly, and they're a really good side. We're looking forward to it. We'll see whatever will be. As they say. Just can't wait to get the season started. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to go for a treble in this league?
I don't know. I told him about it, treble. You know me.
I'll tell you what, if he wins the treble in this, including the knockout cup, questions will be asked.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I'll tell you. It won't happen. It will not happen. Don't worry about that.
I know.
Don't worry.
I'm jesting.
Yeah. I've got another message here from the missus. She turned around and said, "Don't let Martin and Damien do a nude challenge or topless charity calendar for your radio's DAB license because Martin's going to know where to stick his trophies." Yeah, you can just imagine that, can't you? Yeah.
She's got a good sense of humour, obviously. I must meet her one day.
Yeah. Although you won't get on with Celtic and Rangers, obviously.
That's true, yeah. Yeah. Pretty green shirt, obviously,
Oh, she won't like that.
No, Debden playing. I'm not agreeing.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Well, she also supports Liverpool, so yeah. Yeah.
I just want to quickly, if you don't mind, just ask Andy, going back to Brentwood Town FC. I checked up, they finished 8th last season in the Isthmian North.
They did.
Correct?
They did, yeah.
Do you think they're going to improve on it this season? Or I'm looking at the table now, actually, and there's some good sides in there.
There's some very good sides in there. We didn't have the greatest start to the season last season. That's what hit us. We lost out in the playoff final of the season before that to Canvey. So we're unfortunate that we didn't go up then. I'd be happy, and I'm on the supporters group as well and trust. I think we'd be happy with the playoff position. I think there's, as you say, there's some very, very good sides in there. I think Enfield might be the dark horses in this one.
They had a very impressive result. I was very surprised at the margin of victory with that one.
Exactly. They've got also they've just taken on Sam Bansick from Grays, who's now joined Enfield as well. I think they'll be a very good force this season. I would take a playoff position, Martin. In answer to your question, I'll take that. Yeah. I'll take that now.
I'm looking forward to our double header this season. Obviously, we got you at the end of September and at the end of January as well. So,
well, hopefully I'll see you over there. Either or.
Yeah, hopefully you will, and I'm very, very much looking forward to that. I think as well with Brentwood is you've got a good manager there in Rod who knows exactly. Rod's gone, is he?
No, it's Craig Shipman now.
It's Craig Shipman. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Craig came back. Rod left the club back. I think it was February.
I sort of thought he was still there.
No, he's gone now. And Craig Shipman, who was the previous manager, has now come back.
Yeah, Rod did a great job. He's a very steady pair of hands. He knows what he's doing at this level.
Well, he got us to the playoff final, so he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think he was very unfortunate as well to lose that playoff final, from what I heard.
Sorry, say that again.
He was very unfortunate to lose that playoff final.
Yes, we were. We were. It went to penalties in the end, and penalties. It's we all know it. Can go one way, go the other. Such is life.
That's how Martin's won most of his trophies through luck or penalties.
What can I say? Andy, what sort of crowd did Brentwood get at home games?
Brentwood?
Yeah.
It depends on who's playing. Average 300, probably.
That's good.
Give or take, depending on the weather as well. It's last season. I think it was Baltic from September right through to April. It was so cold last season.
Yeah.
It's dependent on the opposition. There's quite a few guys who go home and away. I'm one of them. I think I've only missed about 4 games last season. Oh. So, yeah, dependent on the opposition. And if it's a Tuesday night and we've got Gorson and Wroxham at home, then not many people will go to that.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And perhaps some of the radio boys can go down and watch the game, do a live report from there.
Yeah. We don't usually cover Isthmian League, but because obviously we leave that to others.
We can make exceptions. Well, don't cover Walthamstow then.
Well, no, we cover their reserves because
right.
they're Essex Alliance League, aren't they? So yes. So just also just quickly update on the scores, because there's one more thing I want to go on to before we finish tonight. So yeah, it's with 4 minutes to go, it's Luzerne 2, Hibs 2, Hibs leading 5-3 on aggregate. Derry City still 1-0 up on the night. That's going to go to extra time by the look of it. And Hearts 2, Rosenborg 1 again. That's going to go to extra time. Before we finish, and I've been waiting, obviously, because this is Martin's first appearance of the season. And obviously, I've waited till he's come on to talk about this because I know this is something I know he will want to talk about. Martin. The football world was rocked a few weeks ago by the very shock and sad passing of a former friend and former player of yours, is in Trevor Francis, when you was at Birmingham. So I just wanted to gauge your memories and hear you talk about your memories of Trevor Francis, because he's one of the most respected and loved football players this country has ever seen. So take it away, Mark.
You know, you can ask me that actually, but no, obviously we were, sort of kids, if you like. He already made the first team when I joined. He scored 4 goals against Bolton in his debut or second game.
This was at Birmingham, wasn't it?
At Birmingham. And it was just an all-round nice bloke. He really was. But fantastic player. Oh, what a player in training. Try and get close to him. He couldn't get close to him. And he developed obviously into the first £1 million player, England player, Liverpool stuff. But no, it was a wonderful man. Although when people pass away, that's what you've got to say. That's not true. He was a lovely, lovely man. We kept in contact quite a while, and then obviously people, you go your different ways. And I was a little bit gutted, to be honest, when I come up on Sky, and my phone, I can't remember now. And I went, what? He's only like 2 years older than me, and I'm thinking, blimey, you know what I mean? I know he had a previous heart problem a few years ago. Unfortunately, his wife passed away around about 10 years ago, which I actually met. And no, he was a wonderful, wonderful man, really respected in the football world. Don't forget, he was a manager as well. It was at QPR. Was it Sheffield Wednesday? I can't remember now.
Palace.
And Palace, of course, yeah. No, honestly, I was a little bit gutted because obviously it takes me back, a long time ago. And may he rest in peace. Yeah, I really do. Thank you. I didn't know you would ask me that, but I'm getting choked up now. But no, he was a nice guy, nice all-round guy, fantastic footballer, absolutely fantastic footballer. One of the quickest I've ever seen, played against or like the marking training. And yeah, shame really is.
Yeah, it is a great player. I mean, quickly, Damo and Andy, you would have obviously remembered him as well. Great player.
Yeah, definitely. He was a fantastic player. The first £1 million man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, he was a great manager as well. He led Sheffield Wednesday to 2. I mean, unfortunately, a team beat him in both the finals. I don't know what team beat him in both them cup finals that year. I was at both finals that year, so yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was very sad news. It's just, when a legend dies like that or passes away, it's just, I don't know. It does. It's
not that day, Mo. It's someone who's sort of near, not your age, but sort of near my age as well. You think, blimey, fit man,
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. It's just really sad.
Sorry, we used to. Used to be a nightclub in Birmingham called Barbarella's, and I'll be honest, I was underage. I don't know why I'm whispering, but I was underage at the time. Because I was with Trevor, I know he's with me. And yeah, fine, yeah, here you go. You know what I mean? It's silly little things like that, But it's a shame. It really is.
Yeah. Just a couple of other questions. Who had the longer hair?
I ain't showing you. No, you're not seeing my scrapbook in my hair. You are not seeing it. You are not seeing it.
No, come on. Who had the longer hair? You or Trevor Francis?
So, I don't know what to say now. But that was the fashion in the 70s. That was the fashion. So long hair, I've got a scrapbook at home, and I need my family to see my photos. My hair is horrendous. It really is. It really is.
Oh dear. Okay. Obviously, right, finally, obviously. So, what games have we all got coming up this weekend, Andy? Obviously, West Ham, Chelsea, big London derby. But any Sunday games or Saturday games you're going to be doing?
No, just the West Ham Chelsea game to not look forward to from a West Ham perspective. Obviously, the Brentwood League doesn't start just yet, but hopefully we can get a draw at least out of that. From that, we'll see.
Be interesting London derby, that will. Who have Brentwood got this weekend?
We got Kings Langley at home in the FA Cup 3 p.m. kickoff over at the Brentwood Arena. We're both step 4.
They've just come down from step 3 because they got relegated from the Southern Premier last season.
Right. So that's going to be a very tough game for Brentwood. Hopefully we can get the job done on Saturday afternoone and progress to the next round. Fingers crossed. Come on, Brentwood.
Yeah, Martin. Obviously, I know you've got Tottenham against Man United, but
5:30 kickoff. I like 5:30 kickoff, and I don't know how to call it, to be honest. I really don't. I wouldn't know what to say.
Who've Debden got? You got a friendly?
Got a friendly against their reserve team. Normally a bit of a cruncher. They think they should be the first team. We don't think they should be. But we'll see. So that would be, of course, most important game of the weekend is the World Cup. Ladies World Cup.
Yes, good luck to the Lionesses. Really, they've done absolutely fantastically to get there. It's going to be a tight game, but come on, England. But with this way this World Cup has gone, is there liable to be one more twist, considering the twist and the shocks we've had so far?
Well, hopefully in England's favour. Will Low and Jane play? We should be on the bench.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Damien, who you got this week? Are you going to Palace on Monday?
No, I'm not. I've been there the last couple of seasons, so I didn't fancy it really, to be honest. And we're not got a great track record there. Last season was, I think, the first time we've won there in ages. But no, I'm just literally going to be playing on Sunday this week. So Barkingside are away at Benfleet, so I won't be there this week, but yeah,
definitely. By the way, does anyone know how Leighton Orient did at the weekend? Do you know how they got on Saturday?
No, I think
they lost, didn't they? I think they lost, didn't they?
Well, you've got about 64 new signings, haven't you?
Yeah, very funny. Yeah. So yes, I will be at Walthamstow. We're home to Leatherstock Green on Saturday in the FA Cup preliminary round, and then on
where are they from?
Hertfordshire, Hemel Hempstead.
Okay.
They're playing the Spartan League. And then on Tuesday, I'll be at Fratton Park for Portsmouth against Fulham, the under-21s, of course, in the EFL Trophy, Checker Trade, Papa John's, Auto Windscreen Shield, Martin Brazier Cup, whatever you want to call it this week. Yeah. So, that will be a very interesting week. And I'm very, very much looking forward to that. By the way, Orient, to be fair, Saturday, they struggled. Didn't look good at all. And Ian's vindicated. He said it'd be mentioned, didn't you, Ian?
Yeah.
Definitely. Right. Also, just to inform you all, the latest scores. Hearts have scored in the 93rd minute to take a 4-3 aggregate lead over Rosenborg.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an astonishing result. Wow. Derry are still in injury time. Hibs are in injury time there.
It's full time. It's full time at Derry now. It's 1-0.
Oh, is it?
Going to extra time now, yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. We just missed a sitter.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not good. Hearts will play Greek side PAOK Salonika in the next round. Hibs are almost on a British derby with Villa, which is going to be a very intriguing watch.
Definitely.
Well, that is more or less about it from GFS for this week. We will be back next week. Andy, thank you so much for being here this evening.
Absolutely my pleasure, and thank you for having me.
And please come back later on the season, because it's been really, really good discussion, and we've really enjoyed it. Yeah. Damo as well, thank you very much for being here.
No, pleasure, Ed. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Myself and Mark will be back next Thursday. We're going to be joined by hopefully local referee Paul Stratton. If not, we'll get another official on, and a former Barkingside player actually, and he's now playing for Stansted, Archie Hammond. And the reason we're going to be having those two guests on the programme is we're going to be discussing the new protocols that have been brought in this season. Hearts have won, by the way, they're through. They're going to be discussing the new protocols, including time wasting and that sort of thing, because there's been a lot of talk about it in the first couple of weeks of the season. And we're going to obviously get the referee's perspective, what they've been told by the FA, what they've been told by county, and how it affects a player as well, get their perspectives. We're going to get two, and obviously we'll get Martin, we'll get the manager's perspective as well. Anyone just got any brief words to say? I mean, Andy, you're not going to be here. Any brief words?
Well, the only thing with regards to that, I'll be listening next week, is just the referee's opinion on the potential points deduction, which can happen for step 7 and below now.
Yeah.
Teams can now be deducted points for ill discipline. So it'd be interesting to see how that's going to be looked at.
I think it'll be interesting, my perspective here, the time wasted, because my experience at Pompey last week, we had, when we played Forest Green in the Carabao Cup, we had a total of 20 minutes added on time. What? And on Tuesday night against Exeter, we had, I calculated it was 9. Wow. 3 minutes at the end of the first half, when the Exeter keeper kept wasting time with the ball. I think with the time waste, it's going to go from one extreme to the other, and I don't think that's right.
Didn't Ed, you might correct me, didn't Norwich win 1-0 last night at QPR?
99th minute, yeah.
Huh?
99th minute they scored.
Yeah, 99th minute. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting discussion, and we've had Paul on the show before, Martin. He's a well-respected official, and it'll be interesting to have him on. Definitely. Right, well, that's about it for the radio listeners. And for the TV viewers, thank you very much. And we'll see you next week. But for now, good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night. Stop live stream.